Over the past couple of weeks, Yen and I have been fortunate enough to have not one, but two extremely lengthy, but also real and honest and insightful conversations with none other than Nate Johnson. The guy obviously needs no introduction. I don't think I need to take up too much time stating why we felt that this particular interview was one of the more important interviews that we needed to do on this podcast, on this channel specifically. He graced us with a lot of his time and was very, very cool about doing this very in-depth thing with us. This is longer than what we typically do. I know this sounds crazy, but this is a 7-hour interview split across 2 days. So you're going to split this into 2 parts. This is part 1 of 2. We talk for 7 hours, so safe to say we talk about it all. Anything you'd want to know, we probably talked about it. So big shout out to Nate for allowing us to do this with him. And yeah, I'm just going to let the interview speak for itself. Real quick, before we hop in, obviously got to do the short plug. 2 things. Merch. We have 2 t-shirt designs over at indiemerchstore.com. You can just look up on the website, Brutality Podcast. If not, there's a link in the description wherever you're watching or listening. And we have a Patreon, patreon.com/Brutality Podcast. If you guys want early access to episodes, ad-free versions of the episodes, as well as be the first to be in the know of upcoming guests. I'm just saying, people knew about this one for a little bit now. And we've also got members-only channels in the Discord server as well. If any of that interests you, if you feel like finding a way to support the show, those are the 2 avenues that you guys can do so. Much love to everyone tuning into this one, and enjoy this incredible conversation with Nate Johnson. You and a lot of the bands that you've been a part of, your band's favorite band and your favorite vocalist's favorite vocalist. That's kind of been, there have been so many times now that other people in other bands have mentioned your name or the bands that you've been a part of. So yeah, I'm stoked just to get to talk about all that. And none of that shit exists online. There's no documentation of those stories of how shit was. Like, especially, dude, we're talking like early 2000s. None of that shit is documented anywhere. So,
it's all, it's all stories and shit, yeah. You might get lucky if you find some old videos, like, of some shit from yesteryear or whatever. But yeah, there's not much at all for serious discussions about like the scenes. I just want to like read old magazines and shit, but that's not like the podcast shit you have today, where you can talk to somebody, sit down for like an hour or 2 and like just rattle on about little bullshit here and there, and it kind of comes out, creates a bigger like conversation, topic, stories, everything else. It's cool.
Have an occasion to see the personality of people, whereas if you go back in time and you look at how it was basically 8 minutes, like close to like, the goal was to have the biggest amount of noise around as you're talking, so you would hear the whole time, and you're like, ah. And the questions was like, with all due respect, it was like, what's your favorite pizza, which is okay, but like you wouldn't see the personality of people in general, which is I think what people crave for in general. So
now I gotta know though, what's your favorite kind of pizza?
Okay, so
what's fucked up is I like shitty pizza. Like,
hey,
I've been dude. Yeah, I've been to like New York. I've had New York pizza. I've had like amazing deep dish Chicago shit. But there's this place back home, in northern Massachusetts, and I think it's in Townsend, Mass, called Pizza Pizzazz, and it's a Greek style shit, and it's like the flaky, fluffy crust. But they had a buffalo chicken pizza there that was made with like Frank's Red Hot sauce instead of tomato sauce at the base, and like chicken and red onion and just mozzarella, just delicious. Yeah. But then just straight up just like a cheese pizza, man.
Dude,
like that's the baseline to find out. Yeah, just if you want to know some places, if the rest of it's good, you got to start with good cheese, and from there you can maybe trust something else.
You do have a point though. If you fuck up with the cheese pizza, it won't get better. I don't think it will. Like
Nah.
no matter what you take from there
Yep.
is probably gonna be. But honestly, it's good. Just cheese pizza is amazing. Like that's my favorite too. But people when you say that, they're like, really? Like they're expecting like the crazy, like 17 ingredients, and you're like,
Like
well,
some boutique
cheese
shit, yeah.
yeah, and you're
Which
like,
is also delicious. I mean, there's plenty of places that have delicious wild shit you can eat, but yeah.
if you want to shock people, though, you need to say you put pineapples on it. That's how you shock.
I don't even
Yeah,
fucking care. I love a Hawaiian pizza. You can suck my ass. I don't give a shit.
It's fine. Like it's not my go-to personally, but I have.
Yep.
I'm like, it was okay.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's one that depends on where it comes from too. See, I'm not getting it from. I'm not getting it from
yes.
Domino's or Pizza Hut. I'm gonna get it from a
Oh, I
place
don't-
that
Yeah.
Oh,
Good point.
a reputable place, like
Reputable,
pizza,
yeah.
Pizza pizzazz.
Yeah. And they had a couple locations too, and it was good. Either one of them was good. Small little like local spot.
This
You ever had
podcast is
was it cold
presented
cheese
by-
pizza?
Cold cheese
that-
pizza.
Yeah, it comes out hot, but then to throw like some cold. I think you see like mozzarella, maybe some Parmesan on top. It's good. Trust me.
You mean they serve it like that?
Yeah. It comes
Never
out
tried
like
that.
it comes out like a regular slice, and then they'll just throw some cold cheese on top, and it just kind
Never
of changes
tried
up the
that.
whole game. I think it was did a show at Premonitions of War up in Plattsburgh, New York.
Mm.
Little garage show, some local bands. It was fucking wild, fun as hell. And afterwards, the guys that were there, I think one of the bands or like the two dudes that ran this, like there's like a house show out in the woods in Plattsburgh, New York, way out in the woods. They took us to this place like downtown that did the cold cheese pizza thing, and we were like all like blown away by how simple and fucking amazing it was.
Been chasing the high ever since.
Yeah, I haven't had it ever since. So maybe I was too drunk at the time, and I remember it incorrectly. Who knows?
Can you imagine if you retry it and it's terrible?
I think this is
You're
fucking
just
That's,
like,
stupid.
that's always the case. Like
Yeah.
20 years anticipation, nah, ain't no way is gonna hold up.
Yeah, I've never even seen of it done anywhere else. Maybe it's like a weird upstate New York thing. I don't know. I should look into the
Yeah.
history of it.
But I'm curious now that you talked about it, though.
I'm gonna be looking this
really
up
curious.
after.
Yeah,
after the
I'm
show, for
invested.
sure.
Yeah. So
Okay, here's the deal. You were a part of way too many things, dude. I do mega deep dive. People who watch the show know this. I do mega deep dives, mega amounts of research, and you gave me a fucking run for my money. Piecing
There's
some
probably
stuff
some you
together
don't
for
even
you.
know.
Well, no, of course, clearly, right? But even getting the stuff that is out there,
Yeah.
it was a whole lot. But so I don't want to necessarily do a sometimes we kind of go chronologically or whatever. I think some stuff will be naturally maybe stuff we can go from one band to another and stuff like that. But I'd love to maybe just touch on certain bands, and then we can kind of just talk shop about stories about each of those, maybe recording stories and particular albums and touring stuff and just that sort of thing. But I think it'd be cool to maybe start just getting to know how you got into music and playing like heavier music in general.
When I was in high school, I had a buddy named Randy who was he was like probably the only other kid in school that listened to like any sort of like metal, hardcore, death metal, things like that. Also like way more into like punk rock and shit. And I think that he kind of got into it from like his older sister, who's probably like maybe like 5 or 6 years older than he was, and she had a lot of older friends and shit. And he was always hanging out with her, so I think it trickled down from there. But like, I think if I was starting listening to heavy music, it's probably like 5th or 6th grade, around there. I started with the early shit like Metallica, Slayer, like, and then from there like tipped into like Cannibal Corpse. One of the actual like first like other death metal bands I heard was Unleashed, like way back in the day. And then it was like hardcore, like a lot of old Victory shit, like Birth Crisis, Snapcase, a lot of shit like that. And it just kind of trickled up from there. But Randy and I, we fucked around, made music in his basement with some other kids in high school that, had a guitar or somebody played drums or something like that. It was just like
whoever
and
had
I
the
was-
things.
yeah, and like I'd had no fucking talent, so I was just yelling through a mic, coming through like a little combo amp on a shelf, and that was it. And then later on in high school, we started like a bad new metal-y hardcore band called Lifeblood. And that drummer ended up actually being the drummer for Deadwater Drowning, a few years later.
Are there recordings of this? Is that a thing that exists?
We did a CD, and pressed it ourselves. Like, we made like 50 copies of it. It's fucking pretty wild. It's like one of those CDs you get printed someplace and like the label of the CD starts peeling off after like a year, so it won't ever work again, basically. So it's like I don't even know. I don't have a copy of it anywhere myself.
And I think selling for $5,000 on eBay right now.
Nobody wants to hear that shit. Trust me. I'd be hard pressed to even want to hear myself. It scare me.
What you say you started screaming, just into a mic, into like a shitty amp? Like what does that sound like for you vocally? Like, are you like straight to gutturals? Is that kind of just what always came out, or you go, I don't know, maybe a more hardcore thing? That seems to be some of the bands you were influenced by. Like what were you
metal
chasing, quote unquote, when you started doing vocals?
Probably, I think the issue was because like I never had like a PA probably for a while for the first like couple bands, that I just went for volume so I could hear myself over the music. So I just kind of like started pushing as loud as I could go, basically. So if the speaker that I was coming through wouldn't have it. Ooh, thank you, dear.
Yeah.
Wife just made me a nice little ice cuff.
Wow, that's the life.
Yeah, it's just volume. I honestly don't.
Were you blowing out your voice, trying to scream over the drums? Like
it probably happened. Yeah, like I'm sure I lost my voice early on. Like by the time I was doing Deadwater, or even like the band before that, band called Chagrin, which was 3 of the guys from Deadwater, and just more like at the gates metalcore kind of shit with like heavy breakdowns, that kind of thing. Like by the time I was doing that, I never really lost my voice since that point on, unless I was like sick.
Mm.
And if I did, I would just like cheat it by cupping the mic or some shit like that, just fake it if I had to. But I've never really like there's a few stories like this. A Fit for an Autopsy show where I had like probably laryngitis or bronchitis or something, where I couldn't even talk. I was like, and so I was trying to, and it was a benefit show for the singer of Abastinate who had passed away, the New Jersey band, this dude Jay. And like I was trying to do vocals, and I was just kept coming out like I would be trying to scream, like no sound would come out at all. But then I would like tremor, so it'd come out like woo over the mic, over the PA, and it sounded fucking like not even proper. It was just fucking stupid. And I tried my best to like make it work, but I was just like, I almost gave up and like laughed my way through the whole set. I just didn't give a shit. I was probably drunk too, so I didn't really care.
That'll ruin some people. So some vocalists are only known by their terrible performances and not all their
true.
I'm honestly probably kind of known for my terrible performances for being so fucking ridiculous. I don't know. I did a whole Premonitions of War show like almost like on my face because I was so drunk for a matinee show in Texas. And like Mike was like kicking me on the stage, the guitarist was just kicking me to like get up, and I was just like on the ground, just like Mike in my face, just laying there basically. There was like nobody at the show, and I was already drunk at like 4:00 in the afternoon. Yeah, that's the dumb really shit good. I did. Yeah.
What so you mentioned there's like a few other bands before Deadwater Drowning. Like you're doing this new metal hardcore thing. There's like members that persist through all of it. What's the through line here? What are the other bands that you're going through at the time?
Bands, sorry, like bands that I was in, or like bands I was listening to, shit like that, or what?
No, bands you were in, and then I guess by proxy also what it kind of sounds like. What were you guys going for and shit like that?
With the first band, Lifeblood, and I also did something band run this. I think Lifeblood, then did another band called Fifth Wheel, or Fifth Wheel was before that actually. That was it was heavily influenced by like White Zombie. I forgot that one happened before. That was before Lifeblood. Yeah, it was like a lot of weird samples and like atmospheric shit with this old. I wish I could remember the program, but it was like a very very basic, like you could put in a little small wave file and like set it up with a sequencer. We had like sequence like electronic drums mixed with an actual drummer.
Mm.
And I was just screaming my head off too. It wasn't like cool new metal, like, you know, a vocalist who has like a style or anything else. I was just trying to be as loud as possible. Again, same thing. Like
The little drum machine sample thing.
Yep.
Like, was your drummer pressing play and then like, oh, I gotta like
No.
be in sync with it? Like, what's the?
no, he had the guitarist had a PA, and he had a computer out in the barn where we practiced, and he would run it through the PA. So he'd have like a little, you know, click in like a tick, 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 tick. And then the sample, you know, I'd have like a Charles Manson sample or some fucking shit like that. Like everybody uses. It would go into that in the song. Our drummer would play over it in time, and just guitar and bass over that. I'd be screaming weird lyrics.
For context, that seems like a simple enough setup in 2026. But what year are we talking here? Like computers into the PA and a click track and sampling and all this shit?
Yeah.
We're in a whole other world here. In a barn, no less.
In a barn, yeah. It was
There's no laptops, let's be clear.
98 probably.
Mm.
97, 98, I think. Yeah, because I think then Lifeblood we were doing it like 99. Yeah, so probably around there, yeah.
I mean, that's some geek ass shit. Having
Yeah.
a computer running through the PA in 98, you know.
All it was like, you know, an 1/8-inch microphone cord to a AV splitter run into the, you know, one of the channels on the mixer basically. And it wasn't believe me, the program wasn't anything special. It was like, you know, some shareware software download for free kind of shit.
Well, yeah, for sure. But it's just that it was probably none of that was made for that use case, you know. Probably.
Oh no, yeah, like dudes like, you know, Rob Zombie, White Zombie, Static X, like all those like cool new metal bands back in the day probably had way cooler machines they were using.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, for context, people watching, like, I don't think you understand. Before the 2000s, we're not even. It's pre Windows XP and stuff like that. It's like Windows like 97, 98. We're talking like, you know, if you have a mini game on your computer, it's like, wow, that's crazy. Like,
Yep.
pinball game and Google research, you could go to the bathroom and then come back for an image to be loading properly. And
It's just wild.
I'm not even I think that's really what it was. Like people were like, oh no, that's what it was.
Oh, it was
like
it
5
was
minutes.
Alta Vista was the old school search engine, I think, before Google and shit, right?
You're right. I think.
And then
right.
it was like there's probably a couple other ones, but that's the one I remember from school. Like when we had the computers at school, like Alta Vista was the one they had on there all the time.
And your parents, if they were using the phone, your internet would drop.
Yep.
So that's another.
You had to
thing.
get a separate line if you were so lucky to have it for the computer and a regular landline. Yep.
Yeah. I'm saying the context because to Dump's point, like people were watching, they're like, oh, okay, he was recording music. No, I don't think you understand that. What we had at that moment to do that. If you were not creative in that regard, like finding forget it. It was, nothing was done for you. Like it was like, figure it out and good luck, basically.
Yeah. Like the demos we recorded that shit went into, you know, an SM57 on a mic stand, and we tried, you know, multiple spots to record a few songs into a 4-track to see how it sounded and to find the right spot where you could kind of hear the drums, kind of hear the samples coming out of the PA and the vocals and the guitar and the bass without it all just sounding like a train wreck.
Yeah, not the spot where it sounds good, the spot where it sounds the least bad.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
I think we can kind of hear what it is. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, each person knows, like, oh yeah, it sounds good to me. I can hear myself, and it's like, well, I can't hear what I'm doing. Yeah,
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned Chagrin. Is that the name?
Yep, Chagrin. Yeah, that was
Chagrin.
The guitarist Johnny, and the bassist Seth, who were in Deadwater. We were in that band with a different drummer, kid named Ari. Another hardcore kid from around the area, also into like death metal and stuff like that. It was just it was a similar thing. It started, they had a band going before that. I think they called it Ataxia. Different vocalists, another guitarist involved too. It kind of had like a, you know, new metalish, like because they were doing 7-string shit. and it was like had a lot of open noted like bouncy riffs mixed with, you know, because at that time, you know, I'd known John before that and talked to him, and we'd been friends for a while. Like, you know, you know, we were always talking about like this like Cryptopsy and shit and all these other like cool fucking death metal bands, hardcore bands, because he worked at a small like a CD record store in New Hampshire, and I would go up in there and find like because they had a bin of like basically all like the sampler CDs that would come in back in the day, like pre-release sample CDs, and they would sell them at this place for like $5, like months before the albums would come out and shit. And I always go in there and troll through and find shit, you know, like an album that was coming out long before it was ever released back in the day, and it was like the greatest shit ever. And I think I got a Cryptopsy album in there. I think it was like Whisper Supremacy. I think I got real early. All kinds of other shit. But yeah, like you're talking about like dudes that are influenced by all these other things and are kind of starting to figure out how to write music. So it was like new metal groove shit from dudes who like Mudvayne, but also listen to like Cryptopsy and like Circle of Dead Children and like, you know, all this, just everything that's fucking heavy. You like used to go to CD store and see like that logo looks cool. You know, that CD cover looks fucking cool. I'm just gonna buy it. And you just check it out. You like saw the band's name and like the thank you list in the liner notes of a different band you already fucking love. So you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna next time I see them, I'll check that out. And you know, sometimes it's good, sometimes it was shit. And you're like, that sucked. Why did I buy it? You know, it was shit like that. So that band was like definitely more like metalcore, not a whole lot of like blast beats and stuff, but it was like they really were just like by the time I got in was really trying to go for like the heavy like at the gate style metalcore that was kind of popping, like the old prayer for cleansing shit. Like at the gates, soil work, but with like fucking breakdowns, shit like that. Because you know, at the same time, the guys listen like you know, say Poison the Well, 18 Visions, a lot of like that new dawn of metalcore, Disembody, like all that other like super heavy shit that was coming out at the time, changing you know the game. Besides like the late 90s or 80s stuff, you know, that was had been around for a while. You know, the late 90s, early 2000s, you know, was starting to change and kind of a different route of heaviness in a way, you know.
Yeah. What was the local scene in New Hampshire back then? Like, was it particularly dominant in like a specific genre? Were there a lot of local shows, the local scene, other bands and stuff? What was it like? Were you going to a lot of shows?
Here and there. Like I started kind of going to shows late '90s. Like trying to remember what the first like I went to a lot of like weird like punk shows with my buddy Randy, and like a couple like you know local hardcore bands that probably played one or two shows and never did anything else again.
As one
I don't
does.
think I really remember. Yeah, I don't remember my first like real like first hardcore show, or even like metal show for that matter, because it's probably like a fest or something where you know it was a mixture of bands. Like the Palladium in Worcester always had like the metal fest.
Yeah.
Always did shows that kind of mixed bands and stuff. But the New Hampshire scene itself was pretty fucking wild. Like just weird bands. Like the time when we were doing like Chagrin and stuff and coming out of like the Lifeblood thing. We had a friends band called From the Ashes, and they were like Chagrin, but had much more of a death metal, black metal, like Converge kind of influence. And they were sick. Other bands, this band, the Enclitic, who was a lot of bands are kind of aping the original, like As the Sun Sets.
Yeah.
You know, what turned into Daughters, like the 30-second, 45-second long spastic fucking grind shit.
Yeah.
There's this band called Ironok from around that area. Familiar with any of these weird names? Have you done any like weird history in this like area at all?
Nah, I haven't.
Guy can probably tell you. Redcord, he can probably tell you about Ironok. I think they played a couple of shows together. Super ridiculous. Like
he was talking to me this week about As the Sun Sets, and you know,
was it? Yeah, see,
yeah.
I'm sure he played with like original, like As the Sun Sets.
I checked them out for the first time because of his recommendation earlier this week, and it's fucking so good.
Yeah, As a Sunset, like that As a Sunset's like the first album was like each individual voice or something. When that shit came out, like that was like game changer for metallic hardcore grind influence kind of like crazy shit, fucking bananas music. Oh, still good to this day. But the band's like Ironok, like I said, Enclitic. Ironok was like this ridiculous band that had like short songs. It was like death grind, but like goofy ass time signatures and shit, super guttural like inhale fucking vocals, just fucking wild. And their shows were bananas too. It was fun. Like I think Chagrin. I think one of our last shows was I think Earnock played. It was Earnock and Hamartia and some other bands from around that area, and the show was wild. It was fun. Backstabbers Incorporated, like one of the coolest bands in New Hampshire. Shit. I'm trying to think what other like New Hampshire bands. Lots of like metalcore bands popped up. Like bands we were friends with. This band Dark in the Sky. Played a lot of shows. Just shit, I can't remember. Like, you had to give me a minute. I could probably think of a whole bunch of.
It's already a lot if I'm honest. But you know what I'm curious about though? I'm curious to know how it was for you personally in terms of like how much time do you spend as a like do you see that as that's what I want to do at this we're talking at this point where you are in time like is it like becoming kind of your life like that's okay that's music or it's just like you do that with your friends and it's awesome and it's cool like where are you at? I know it's a while back but
no I think it was just it's a lot of like just creation, you know, you like, it's just fun to create music with people you like being around. The music was cool for the rest of the time. We had a lot of fun with it. It really was just cool. Like at the drummer Ari's house with Chagrin, you know, his parents would make us like a stack of grilled cheese sandwiches cut into little squares and always bring us out Cokes like all the time for band practice. They're like the coolest parents ever. And we were making noise in their garage for like hours on end. Just like, it was just fun. So, I mean, it was just fun. And getting to play shows was fun. That was kind of just the whole thing. I don't think I really wanted to make music like a lifestyle or thing, but I'm always like, whatever, if it happens, it happens. Like, I'm not going to try and be a fucking rock star. I don't want to be like the vocals. I was doing vocals because I couldn't do anything else really. Like I never had a, guitar or bass guitar or anything like that to just fuck around with anyhow. So I was like, I'll just scream because I'm the guy that'll do it now. So
the whole time desperately trying to play guitar while people are like, he's the best vocal. He's like, trying. He's like, oh, God,
just grab the mic. Just grab the mic. Put that fucking thing down. Yeah. What do you do?
People are losing their mind. They're just like, don't touch the instrument.
Yeah. I did play guitar in a band called Buck Hunter, which is just a fucking like just like a hillbilly rock band. It's like, just taking the piss out of rednecks and shit, basically.
That was fun though.
Slinging beers and hunting deers. Was that the
the
tagline?
Yeah. We had like 10 songs that's still written. We only recorded like 3 or 4 ever. I play guitar on the original like couple shows of that. Other than that, I did end up playing bass in a band called The Network for like 2 years, and that was probably the most fun I think I've ever had in my life. But
I love how specific your memories are also. Like, it's cool that you associate, like, you remember, like, the grilled cheese and stuff. And I know for some people are like, oh, well, yeah, but, like, it's cool that you have these specific memories with those eras that are more of a, as you said, to your point, like, it's not necessarily a performance thing or whatever. It's more like moments you had and where you were in your life. I think that's an interesting connection that you have with those moments.
I was probably just trying to remember, like, the fun parts, like, because as Deadwater fizzled out and like I joined Premonitions of War, that's when I started drinking a lot. And there's a lot of shows I don't really remember. A lot of shit I just don't like remember because I was just stay drunk.
Well, great memories, but you don't remember it basically.
Just like shows and stuff. Yeah, like and I think about even with For An Autopsy and stuff and everything else with that, like. I remember like he just drank a lot, and I don't remember a lot of like the shows too much. Here and there I do, but but then it's like the actual like detail of some of this stuff. I'm like, yeah, I guess that happened. Sure, you tell me, it's fine.
Yeah, but to be clear too, and we'll get to all that too. But both of those bands, you did some pretty extensive touring with them too. It's like a different thing, like playing a weekender here and there versus like doing 200 shows in a year with Premonitions. Like it's that easier for all of that to become a blur, if anything. On top of the drinking for sure, but
Yeah. I guess we'll go back to Scrim. We probably were a band playing shows for a solid year. We probably wrote and just did demos and stuff for a year before that too. But I think the band probably was around for like 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
and then it
Were you guys mostly
then
playing local or out
yeah
of state as well? Or?
yeah we didn't tour. I think we played like Vermont. We might have gone to Maine once. We probably played Matt's a couple times. I don't remember if we played any like actually like show. We didn't play any like real shows with like anybody, like any like actual touring band. I don't think. See, maybe this is where I started to forget things. I know we played a show with I think it was Diecast and what's that band? Scar Culture, I think, was on the same show in Hudson, New Hampshire with Goratory. And that show was awesome. I can't remember if you don't remember any like other actual national, bigger bands that were coming through or anything like the time, but Deadwater we did, but
it was still serious. I mean, like still doing cool stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
we were still playing like good local shows with other friends of ours, like another band we were friends with, Silent Reflect. They were kind of close to like the Poison the Well kind of thing. They were all like good friends with Ari, and by proxy, we were all good friends together. We always hung out together. We were always just like watching dumb movies and shit together. Nobody at that time really like drank or did anything crazy. We just hung out and like did dumb shit when like late at night driving around. Like Ari and I
didn't
would
need
go
the
out.
drinking to be stupid.
No, like we'd get like crazy fucking snowstorms, and Ari and I would go out all night, like just driving like our vehicles sideways down the road, like past the snowplows sideways, just like the whole time. Like that's the dumb shit we did. Like pulling a snowboard behind somebody's car down some back roads, like just there's nothing else to do. It's just like fuck it, let's go out and stir
This
shit
guy
up.
wants to make fun of the rednecks. Come on now.
Oh man, I am a fucking redneck, good old boy at heart. Trust me.
Okay.
But I don't celebrate the let's say the dumbass.
the extreme of it.
Yeah, I'm not like MAGA. I'll go that far to say it. I'll just go right out there and say it. I don't do that dumb fucking. I'm not ignorant about my redneckery, I guess.
That sums it
A
up.
redneck in moderation.
Yeah, all these other assholes enjoy things that I like doing, and they ruin it for me wanting to be able to do it in a way. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like, but I do it, but
they're given the
I gotta talk to
lifestyle
those
about
assholes.
rap.
Yeah, like I want to do that stuff, but I don't have to talk to these assholes about anything else. I just want to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what sucks sometimes, because you love a part or something, or you resonate with a part of something, and then you're like, that comes with this. And you're like,
Yep.
These are not my people. They should be,
Yeah.
but they're not. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're like, oh, you're one of us, and you're like, well.
Yeah. And again, that's part of the thing of like growing up, getting more dorky, or also like when I stopped drinking and shit too, like I drank to put up with people's like bullshit and like the dumb shit they did or said. And when I kind of like started like phasing out of drinking and stuff, I'm like, I'm good on being around people like this and talking to people like this. Like, I just don't need it. Like, see ya, thanks, I'm good. Like, I just don't put up with it anymore. Like, if I gotta hear dumb people say shit at work, I'm like, excuse me, I don't fucking think so. Like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to put up with it. So.
Which is okay. It's
Yep.
difficult. I don't know if you're like me, but like when you're kind of people pleaser, or you feel some ways of just like being, I don't know, impolite or whatever. But over time, you just realize you're like, no, I'm just respecting myself. I don't have to agree with everything. Oh, my cam is lagging. Sorry.
Yep.
I'm just stuck. You don't have to. I swear I'm not AI, by the way. I'm real. I exist. No, you don't have to pull up with these things. Actually, it's okay to say no. I don't disagree, and you don't even have to go in depths with it. You can be like, no, I don't. I disagree, and it's fine. Just and move on, and you don't have to feel bad about that. So
Yeah. And it's like if somebody wants to push the issue, then it's like, well, that's a whole different story. It's like if you really feel so strongly about it, by all means, I guess we can go there.
Yeah,
I'd rather not.
You're asking for it, so it's like, I'm gonna tell you what I think. So, but I think it's amazing what you realized. Because from what you're talking about, it was a big thing also to stop stop drinking, and it's like you kind of have to face certain things about yourself. Like I had to do it too, and it's like you need to those thoughts, and what you have no choice but to face what I guess drinking was helping you with, type thing.
Yeah.
So you understand a lot about you. It's basically, I don't know for you, but it's almost like relearning how to deal with that stuff. These people, those, it's like a rediscovering how you feel, and it comes with, okay, I'm not taking shit anymore.
Yeah.
It's the type thing. So I can relate.
Just a quick second to talk about the sponsor of today's episode. You guys already know it's Indie Merch Store. Massive shout out to them for continuously supporting the show. We got a few things to talk about today. First up, we've got Carnifex celebrating a whole ass decade of their album Slow Death. It's fucking crazy. But they're celebrating this with a pretty cool merch drop with a bunch of album themed merch. We got tanks, tees, flags, patches, and yes, due to the multiple requests, the Defend Death Metal caps are back. This has been out of stock for a while, so be sure to secure yours before they sell out. All this stuff is in stock right now and shipping immediately, so you can head on over to indiemerchstore.com to secure yours today before it sells out. Be sure to also catch the band on tour with All Shall Perish alongside Extermination, Dismemberment, and Our Boys in Mauled. That's hitting all of the US and parts of Canada all throughout November this year, so do check out the dates. Also, we have Crown Magnetar. Got a brand new record coming up, The Hollowing of Godflesh. They've got a band exclusive variant of a vinyl plus the unique Leader Records pressing, along with some crucial merchandise and CDs. All that over at indiemerchstore.com, just like the brand new To the Grave record as well, Liberation Front. Also, limited vinyl, CD, full merch spread. Very dope. Go check it out, indiemerchstore.com. You can catch Crown Magnetar and To the Grave on their co-headliner tour. Let me check where this is actually hitting before I say some nonsense. Yes, this is all throughout the month of November and December with special guests. Face Yourself. You got a bunch of cool bands doing support slots throughout the entire tour. Got Tracheotomy, Squelching, I Declare War, and Amiona is doing a few dates. Alice Kohler's band. So do check out the dates, check out the records, check out the pre-orders, all that over at indiemerchstore.com. Massive shout out to them for supporting the show. As always, you guys can use code BRUTALITY at checkout for 10% off of your entire order. Again, that's code BRUTALITY at checkout for 10% off of your entire order. Massive shout out to Indie Merch. Now back to the show. Let's talk about Deadwater Drowning here.
Oh
Yeah, by all means, start. You can go through the whole fucking list if you want. I'll even help you along the way. Find the ones that weren't there too. I have some secrets, It's just
Some secrets. I mean, hey, by all means, sprinkle in the secrets. You
That's
don't
priority,
you don't.
actually.
Yeah, you don't got to ask for permission if anything comes up. But Deadwater Drowning, you mentioned that there were a few members from the previous bands that ended up doing Deadwater Drowning with you. What's what's kind of the purpose of changing a band name, or if it's like sensibly the same people? Like what goes on to going from the past band to this one?
It started with the guitarist John. He had been hanging out with the drummer John Dow, because John, I think at the time he was still in like 11th grade, still in high school. And John was just jamming with him. And John Dow, the drummer rather, Johnny Fay, the guitarist, John Dow, the drummer. John Dow was a ridiculous drummer, even at his age. Like, he's just a machine. He also had Tourette's, OCD, probably even autism to some degree. I'm not sure at this point we could have figured that one out. He used to take, I think it was for medication, it was like 7 pills in the morning, 5 at night. And he was he's just he's not a crazy person, but he's just like always like, haha, just always just wild and goofy. But then he was a machine on the drums. So John was jamming with him, decided that he wanted to do a different band. It was way more like grind influence, more like things like Cryptopsy and like death metal and shit that he was getting more into at the time and stuff too. So he just did that. And when he said he was doing that, I was like, well, shit, I'll go too if you want. And then it's the same thing with the bassist Seth. He's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll go too. Like, and our drummer Ari, he was bummed out because he's still good friends with all of us. But he ended up joining another band, like the band I mentioned before, Silent Reflect. He joined them, but they started a whole other band called Knife Bite Romance, which was
without him too.
Without what?
Without him too?
No, he joined. No, he took up drums playing for them. So it wasn't like he was out of a band for a while. It was like he went right to just playing with his buddies and stuff. And we played shows together and stuff too. So it was it was like no hard feelings. And it was just like John just wanted a drummer who was more capable of doing like crazy time signatures, weird shit, faster blast beats, things like that. And that's just kind of where it went. And it was a similar thing really. We probably wrote in a basement for like a year, just writing the 5 or 6 songs we had. Yeah. And just started playing shows.
I'm curious about you mentioned some influences there, but and this seems to be a thing that was maybe going on with other bands in the scene and other bands you were in even prior, but the kind of the blending of death metal, but also hardcore and breakdowns and all this sort of stuff it wasn't a thing, right? We often pose the question, which, we'll get to you at the end of this episode, but who invented deathcore, and Deadwater Drowning gets brought up a hell of a lot every time we pose the question, right? So I'm just kind of curious, because that seems to be a theme, even maybe prior to Deadwater Drowning, like that kind of love for both of those genres. You mentioned more at the gates, but with breakdowns, like, that's essentially like textbook what became deathcore ultimately, right? But, what was it about blending the genres, and were there other bands that you guys looked up to or saw that were doing that sort of thing, or was just purely just like both sides of the spectrum and you guys were just like, fuck it, let's throw it all in the same pot?
I mean, it still was like during Chagrin, like always like downloading shit from like hardcoremp3.com and shit back in the day, because a lot of bands were putting stuff up there at the time. But I think it's in terms of like bands that were kind of established, like the Chagrin to Deadwater pipeline was probably like Cryptopsy, Soilwork, At the Gates, Skinless, Devourment. Trying to think of bands were always just like, laughing at because they were so fucking heavy and shit, or so ridiculously like guttural, things like that.
Now, what about the hardcore? Like, where does the breakdowns come into play here?
Probably, I mean, because Johnny was like the main songwriter, and he was probably more influenced by like Converge. Trying to think what else. Maybe like Converge, Cave In, 18 Visions. Kind of that hell. I'm trying to think of other bands. Maybe Every Time I Die. Bands like
Dillinger,
that.
kind of that era too.
You know what? I don't think he actually liked Dillinger that much, or even like because I remember talking to him like. Because this is even a funnier story. I had the first Dillinger EP that was on like Now or Never Records. It was like a 6-song thing. It didn't sound like Dillinger sounds like today, or sounded like even for Calculating Infinity. But then there's the Under the Running Board EP, and I fucking love that. But then when I heard Calculating Infinity, I was like, yeah, it's cool. It's crazy. But I mean, even though that's the kind of music I was like starting to get into, like just this absolute like chaotic shit, like trying to get the time too, like and we're always just looking for more grind bands, or crazy fucking grind bands at the time. As the Sunsets was definitely an influence. I can say that one.
Yeah, because that kind of style of band like took a whole fucking the whole scene by storm, but a bit later than what we're talking about now. Like, sure, Converge was doing some stuff, picking up steam, and same thing, Dillinger, stuff like that. But like, there was like an era mid 2000s at that kind of point that, you know, every single band was see you next Tuesday, heavy, low, like that whole kind of, it became a scene thing as well, but like that whole kind of mathy, screamo, hardcore, dissonant, yeah, like chaotic as fuck type of thing. That's like what everyone was doing for a minute, right? But this is like 10 years prior almost, you know? Not 10 years, a good 5 years.
Yeah, like, so I'm trying to think. So probably around 2000, 2001, in that time frame. Yeah, I mean, it probably was just mostly stemming from a lot of like the Converge and Cave-In leftovers.
Between the Buried and Me, I know you guys played a ton with them. Were they already around at that point, or
no? Premonitions played a bunch with them. They did a tour before I was in the band, and I did a tour with them. Oh, you know, here actually, now it's like registered with me. Cephalic Carnage was a big influence. The Exploding Dysfunction album, and probably around the time we were doing Deadwater, I think that what was the one after that? The with the red cover, that one came out.
I'm terrible with names.
Had Black Metal Sabbath on it.
Yeah.
But the green one with all like the distorted faces on it, Exploding Dysfunction, that was a big influence. I mean, we were definitely influenced by a lot of like the earache, relapse bands that were coming out at the time. A lot of probably like Willow Tip, and what was that other fucking that other label that the hell was it at the time? Did Red Chord put their first Fuse Together out on it? First one? What was that called?
The robot, the whatever.
It's Robot something.
I'm terrible with.
But you had Willow Tip, Relapse, a lot of those labels. A lot of the death grinders coming out. There's also like blast beats with some breakdowns here and there, super guttural shit.
Robotic Empire.
Robotic Empire. There you go. Yeah. A lot of great bands in there too. Yeah, I guess we can blame it a lot on like Relapse, Earache, and like some of those earlier Willow Tip bands. Red Chord for sure, because when Catalepsy came out, it was like, this is sick. And I didn't really like mess with it first, and I don't know why, because nowadays it's, you know, songs, I fucking love it. Loved it, you know, since probably punched people in the face many times that song back in the day. It's just yeah, I don't know. It's weird to think back, like because it's all blurry. You know, it was just at the time we're all just collecting MP3s on a computer and buying every CD we thought looked fucking sick, or, you know, seen a band somewhere and just picked it up, shit like that. So
yeah, it's not. I'm only assuming here, but it's not as intentional as what we're posing the question as right now. Also, right? You just like a bunch of music, and that's what kind of comes out. But it's always interesting to me, because ultimately, I mean, maybe that's more of a thing, less of a thing now, but especially back then, I assume, were you guys writing in a room together? Was it mostly just so everyone had to kind of be on board and be pitching, and I probably listening to a lot of the same bands, I assume, right? So
yeah, the bassist Seth, he was just kind of along for the ride. He was way more into new metal, some death metal. He was way into like Primus and Clutch, things like that. He was just a good bassist.
Bassist enjoys Primus.
He just wanted to hang out, smoke weed, drink beer, whatever. It was mostly John, the two Johns, like getting together, jamming on riffs that he had, or jamming on, because John Dow, the drummer, could also play guitar. Like, he plays guitar like as good as he is on drums. He's just one of those weird phenom people that has nothing else better to do but just grab an instrument and sit there with it. And, you know, let his whatever he's got going on mentally just kind of, you know, hyper focus on shit like that. So
yeah,
like he couldn't like tap. He like had it like in his brain, he had to hit stuff like so hard, or else it would like mentally bother him.
Okay, I mean that's a good feature for a drummer.
Yeah, like we used to fuck with him too. Like, he'd be playing drums, and we would like grab something, and we'd like lightly rub it, and he'd be watching out of the corner of his eye, and he would like stop drumming, have to run over, and he would like rub his hand on it to make sure it was like touched hard and go back. And yeah, just torturing the poor kid basically. But
Mm.
it's all good fun.
Yeah, it's part of the fun. It's
Yeah.
You guys recorded like a demo for Bliss from Dead Embrace. Is that like the first thing you guys recorded for the band? Do you guys have
Yeah,
other
there was
stuff?
that one and another song that we had like some ridiculous songs. Like our like the conventions for all that shit are just like we're just idiots. We're very sarcastic and we didn't take anything really seriously. So it was just everything was kind of jokes in a way, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
just like we're not super disgusting death metal like dudes who sit around watching gore films or any like crazy shit like that. We were watching like Super Troopers like back to back all the time when that shit came out. And I can't think of anything else. It was just
It was,
so we did that two song
the
demo.
CD print has like a brutal / emotional noise grind
Yeah.
metalcore with like
smiley
smiley
face,
faces on both sides. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I also love the email here. My bad if I'm doxing you and you're still using the same email. I highly doubt it.
My AOL
get off me sucker at AOL.com.
It's get up off me sucker.
Get up off me sucker at AOL.com. I love it.
Yeah.
that'd be still a good email to use like in a professional way. That's a good one.
Yeah, I guess I could use it. Yeah. Now mine's just, it's very simple. It's just my name, basically.
I think you need to go back. Can you imagine?
I mean, I have dumb handles for like my PlayStation and fucking Xbox and shit like that. But
you got it. That's like you can't not have that.
Yeah.
What is there anything you can tell us about the EP? Because the EP is like highly regarded, especially nowadays, and that's why I'm interested in this conversation with you to kind of contrast it to hear about it, how it was received back in the day. But is there anything you can talk to us about maybe even just the recording processes? Is John Dow's basement where it's recorded?
Johnny Faye had a was it a Roland or like a Tascam? I think he was like an 8-channel, little LCD like recording thing. Had a couple decent mics. He did I think he put he had 4 tracks for the I think he might have like tracked all the drums, and he was able to bounce once he had the mix for the drums right. I think he was able to bounce them all down to 1 or 2 tracks after that, so he had more rooms for like the 2 guitar tracks, the bass tracks, and the vocal tracks. And so it was all done in the basement. And there was even there's a part in one of the songs, I think it's the last song of the EP. There's a part where it breaks because he was listening to it. He was tracking something. And he was tracking it after we'd all sat down and recorded everything. I was doing guitars. He had to come back like a couple days later and reset up all the mics and the drums and shit, and then redo just that part for the last like 2 minutes of the song. And it actually, like, surprisingly, given the setup, you almost can't tell that there's a change there in the song. And it works out. Like, I know where it is because I hear it, because I'm always like, oh, I can hear it. And it's funny because I know, but I always thought it was for the technology at the time for doing a basement recording with that shit. I was pretty impressed.
Yeah.
But he did all the mixing himself, and then we took the EP to Nick Sampiello down in Alston to do the mastering.
Okay.
And he just kind of, made it a little punchier, made it a little louder. Definitely helped out the mix, and as good as it's going to be for like a recording, that we did ourselves. Basically, it was like just good enough that everything was clear, you could hear it and shit. It's just, I think I recorded with like it was on a stand. I think actually that was done in Johnny Faye's at his parents' house in his bedroom.
Okay.
On like an old there's a mic on a stand somewhere. I forget the hell it was. It wasn't like a handheld 58 or anything, but that's how I did that. Everything else was just tracked in. Yeah, it was fun. It was all DIY. There's no like go back before any like sound replacement and all that shit was done. He just had to do. He had like, I think that recording station had like enough RAM on it that you could add like reverb to 2 things while you're recording
but
it.
only 2, yeah.
Yeah, so he had a little on the snare, I think, and then I think he had maybe a little on the kick drum or something, or like some compression on the kick drum and then reverb on the snare. And that's as much as he could get for like effects going into it when he recorded it.
It's like a recording engineer RPG version. He didn't level up enough to put enough points to put reverb on all the tracks.
Yeah. But it worked out.
Are we doing like mostly like one takes and stuff? Is it like a oneer through a song, the record? Like, are we redoing like punching in? Like, how are we? Because you mentioned like having enough space on the tracks to plug in a bunch of shit. But were you guys? But now you just mentioned vocals were maybe done separately and drums were done before. So what's the?
Yeah, it was definitely all drums first, and like I said, he bounced down to I think 2 tracks for that. He was probably punching guitars back and forth. And same thing with the bass and vocals. I think I had probably 2 tracks myself to bounce back and forth.
Yeah.
I think by the time it was done, yeah. So it was pretty. It was about as thick as we could make it with the limitations of the recorder.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, as far as the drums being one take. I mean, to play through the entire song, yeah, it was all one take straight through, except for like I said, the last one where it just, I think it was like a tempo change that like, or I think it might even changed a part or something. I forget what it was, but yeah, everything else drum wise was just one take straight through. He probably did it a couple times over the course of a day to get them all, or 2 days. I forget at this point. Johnny would probably tell you the whole story because he was there doing it, himself the whole process, so he knows everything in and out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to school at Full Sail.
Cool.
For recording. Later, after that, obviously got better because he tracked the first Whitechapel album and stuff. So he kind of knew what he was doing before from recording, I think, the demo, and he recorded all the old Chagrin demos and shit too. So he had a little bit of experience with things kind of going on. But he probably got, like I said, he probably got a way better story to tell on the whole process of that.
Yeah.
Because I was just there screaming.
Do you remember releasing it? Because this is kind of, I'm assuming this is kind of where the relationship with Guy kind of comes into play, or did you guys? I'm assuming maybe y'all knew each other beforehand, but this is like the second Black Market Activities release. So
yeah, barely. It was we liked the Red Chord. We went and saw him a couple times. John and I went to Hellfest with our buddy Dave, who was in a band called Since the Flood, hardcore band.
Mm-hmm.
And we had burned a bunch of 2-song demo.
Yeah.
We had, maybe it was 1, maybe it was 2, I forget. We probably brought like 100 copies that we just burned. It had that little sleeve in it. We just handed it out to everybody. Yeah. Saw a guy at the merch table, gave him the demo. That was, and I think that's where it spawned from there, because I think it's when he sent us I think like a MySpace message probably or something, being like, hey, I was interested in checking you guys out, got your demo at Hellfest. And we usually get a lot of shit demos, but it was cool to get, like a demo from you guys, and the fact you're kind of local too. You're stoked about. So it was exciting for us because we were like, at the time, huge into the Red Chord coming up too. And that's kind of where that goes. I think he was interested before we started recording the EP, and the talks to have the EP be one of the first releases. Yeah, that was a thing. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, we had another song before that. It was actually the last song that Chagrin wrote, and it just kind of got transferred over into one of the first Deadwater songs, just with a slightly different like drum patterns and shit.
Yeah, I saw a listing for the 2 songs, but it didn't have the name for the second song on it. But then this thing specifically was noted as the thing you guys were handing out at Hellfest.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
we had some people like saw people just straight up like say thanks and like throw it on the ground and shit too. I was like, oh wait, man, just come on.
Yeah. Probably not the only ones handing out CDs at Hellfest that weekend.
No, there were tons of people. Shit, I remember trading. I traded a demo at one of the metal fests with Johnny Cupcakes, like a 2-song Unbroken Wings demo. And I was like, he's like, hey, I'm Nate from a band called Deadwater Drowning, you know, or this is our demo. He's like, oh, hey, I'm Johnny Cupcakes. I'm a band called Unbroken Wings. Take my demo. We just like traded it, you know, and then we played a couple of shows with them. Like our first couple of shows, we played with Unbroken Wings and some other bands. So that was just one of those ones I remember from like way back in the day. And that band got, you know, they did a whole bunch of fucking touring and shit too.
Oh yeah.
It's just cool to see them. And then to see Johnny blow up. Yeah.
Yeah, in his own right with his businesses and shit. It's kind of
Yeah.
truly crazy how like that
Yeah.
guy's trajectory
Became
out of
a
hardcore
huge
band.
thing. Yeah. Yeah.
What's do you remember the album like actually coming out, like the EP? Like, do you remember kind of the reception to it, like people fucking with it or not? Like this is kind of, I get, this is like pre MySpace still. It's not much of a like an online landscape at this point.
Yeah, I probably would have had to like, I probably would have had to see like an online, you know, music site review it or something. So it just came down to like shows basically, and like through probably MySpace at the time and like hardcoremp3.com, I think we probably had some stuff up there. Just whatever feedback we got from that. And then just being, you know, getting on shows and getting, you know, decent reactions from, you know, friends of ours and things like that, or other bands too. We like you said, it's like we kind of became like other bands liked us, and I think some other people around the area also didn't like us because we definitely didn't look the part like everybody else did. Like none of us were wearing the super tight pants that everybody was doing at the time, and like tight shirts and shit. I was still I wasn't wearing like Jenkos and shit still, but I was rocking some big pants.
Yeah.
But you know, at the same time, I was, you know, I love like a lot of the bands we played with at the time, like shit, any band we pretty much played with, it was just enjoyed because a lot of the bands we're, you know, able to play with were sick. Like this band from back then, from the Mass area called In Dire Need was just like this, it's unexplainable, like 3 guitars, just evil sounding like death metal, short songs, crazy inhale, like eagle screech vocals mixed with like gutturals, like fucking I think it was the singer Joe. Just silly ass ridiculous vocals. They were all like playing with those dudes, so seeing them live was always just like a treat. They did we played a show with them in the Red Chord, and I think maybe Between the Buried and Me, but they opened the show and it was their last show. It was kind of around their area. And somebody had brought a bunch of fish from a fish market that was being thrown out. And during their set, there was a lot of fish heads and fish guts being tossed around in this venue. And the venue was it was down at Fall River, Mass. And it was a PAL, a police athletic league building. Okay. And they were just throwing fucking chunks of fish everywhere. And they were like one of the second or third band on the bill of probably like 8 or 9 bands. And so the whole place was just fucking wrecked. It was amazing. I had a video of it somewhere, but I had it on DVD, and I had it, and I mentioned to one of the dudes in the band that I had the DVD of it. I was like, oh yeah, I had a DVD of the guy making that show, and you can see the fish being thrown. There's a spot where the fish comes like right at the fucking camera where it was mounted on like a balcony. And he's like, I need that DVD. And like, so my son, I gave it to him, and I don't even know if he still got it, or he should have posted it online because it's ridiculous.
So safe to say it smelled like fish for the rest of the night.
Yeah, it was gross. They probably cleaned it up for a while. I remember it was a way to go out for sure. It was awesome. It's one of those things you like
around for you guys.
It's people still stuck around. It was just, it's one of those things you look back and like, man, it was fucked up. And it probably caused a lot of people to clean up some shit that they really shouldn't have or wanted to. But you're like, nobody got hurt. I guess it's all right. And it's a fucking story to tell. It's, you don't see it happening very often these days. So.
That's for sure. That's for sure. What did Deadwater Drowning only play like a dozen shows? Is this the truth?
Probably. I'm trying to remember, like, our first show was a fest. I think our second or third show, guy, I think Red Chord was supposed to play a show in Philly area, and they couldn't do it. So Bob from A Life Once Lost was doing the show. So he asked if we could get on. So we went down and did that. That show was sick. That was that was All Else Fail was headlining. I love that band at the time. Like that's like vocal style, like in terms of like hardcore and shit, like bands like that are ones I was way into. Like All Else Failed, Turmoil, Disembodied. Like even though like I got into like doing death metal vocals, like my approach has always been kind of hardcore esque in a way. Um, and a lot of my favorite vocalists are not good vocalists, you know,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to compare whatever it is, but I guess it's a sidebar. But yeah, I wanted to play a lot of shows aside from like then doing the tour with the Red Chord and Premonitions of War, Black Dahlia Murder, and like '04.
Mm.
I think the first day of that show was our CD release show. I believe so. I think it was. Yeah, yeah.
What's how do you look back on that EP, and what do you think of people holding it to such high regard, and considering you guys the pioneers of deathcore in a lot of cases, like I mentioned? Like how do you look back on the record personally?
I don't know. I mean, I guess we were there. And I feel like maybe that we were trying to do that. I don't know if we were, like I said, we were probably thinking we were doing more like a death grind shit. Cause you know, it's like, and Johnny and I talked about it before, like after the fact, like what the band would have sounded like. What we got here? What is it? Hold on. I have to check some chicken to make sure it's cooked properly.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Oh, it's hot. I'm going to wait a minute. Give me a second. So yeah, Johnny and I said like what we thought would have happened to Deadwater if he had stayed in the band and kept going. It's like it probably would have just gotten weirder. I was like, yeah, I can see that, but I can't picture what weirder is. And I don't know
Sure.
what that means. So I don't think we would have stayed like super chaotic with breakdowns, maybe, or maybe we would fit a different way to do it. But then also we didn't end up continuing alongside other bands that were, you know, building themselves around the same time and popping, you know, like the Spies and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually hard to say because you know we were probably only, like I said, we were banned for like a year creating the songs, and they were probably like played shows for a year and then just kind of the band broke up basically. You know, it was just did its thing and that was it.
Yeah, yeah. But then how do you look back on just the album labels aside? Just do you like do you like the record? Do you like the
parts of it? No, I mean, I guess I definitely enjoy it for what it was at the time. Yeah, definitely. Like that's all I can say. And it was fun playing the shows. The music, it's hard to go back and listen to because I hate my voice. I hate hearing it. It probably wasn't until like Fit for an Autopsy when I, you know, Will being the fucking genius that he is, like
Mm-hmm.
the first time I heard my voice sound the way that I had been doing it live for a long time. Because even though I've been in bands and out of bands for a while, during up to the time before I left Fit and all that shit, I didn't really like I didn't spend like that whatever 10 years, 10 to 12 years, you know, in music touring all those years. You know, I was just in bands, out of bands, toured here, toured a little bit there, and that's it. So it was just like um yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I know the music's there. Basically I think like the drummer, I guess I can see how it influenced some other bands, but I also don't see how like, you know, aside from bands like Despised Icon, and I'm not even going to say that they were influenced by us either, but I mean, I don't hear other bands that were doing like the songs that were, you know, had a lot of changes in the songs besides Red Chord, but then the Red Chord also became a little more focused in a way,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because, you know, the first Red Chord album is like, it's a mix of like the beginning to where they were at before they started writing shit for clients, basically, I guess you could say.
Sure.
So it's like you saw the growth, and the same thing with the Deadwater EP. That's the growth of the first song we wrote up until the last song we wrote, and you know who knows where it would have gone from there. But I mean, I guess
You do have some stuff you guys kind of you have like a 2004 like demo track that's out there too. Is more
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Maybe
more
that's
Deadwater.
actually. I will say that one, the one that was we just put on MySpace, like that's the first time I actually think I'll say that's the first time I probably recorded vocals where I was actually like, okay, this is how I kind of want to sound like.
I read
I felt
somewhere
good
you were
about
like,
it.
"Hey, maybe we should go into a studio more often." After that,
Yeah,
one.
yeah. But Johnny also recorded that one too, and his recordings were getting better. Like,
yeah.
I think he had gotten an upgrade, like a 16 track, like a same thing. The recording, like it was all a thing, but it had automated sliders and shit on that one.
Three tracks
Yeah.
with reverb on
Yeah,
this one. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. He's got a couple. He's got another gig of RAM in it, or probably sure at that time it's probably another like 8 megs of RAM or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, and I know there's probably contemporaries that like Animosity, another band that had like a million different like changes in the songs. Like I don't think I could ever. There's no point of saying that we influenced them or anything like that. Or I don't think they did because they started at the same time. Like I think it was just happening coming out of probably bands like Dillinger and shit doing like the wild, chaotic shit. And bands like Cryptopsy, I think like Flo's drumming, fucking bananas. They were doing death metal with fucking heavy parts. Like some of the shit on Not So Vile, I want to like drive my fucking truck through a wall when I hear it. Still to this day, like, I mean, it's fucking awesome. I can't still to this day, it's great. And I think that's maybe where it stemmed from, but yeah, I don't know if this. I don't remember hearing many influences that sounded like Deadwater. I can say, and it's not like oh nobody did it like we did. I'm not saying shit like that. I'm just like the deathcore scene as it popped when it became, you know, when I first heard Despise, it was little 2 songs. It was like that song Warm Blooded and something else, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. And then I was like, oh, it's 2 vocalists. I was like, come on. And then like the more I listened to it, I was like, nah, it's like they're too like that. It's good because they sound different. They sound unique. And just Warm Blood has been my favorite fucking Despise song since the day I heard it. I was like, this is fucking amazing. So I don't know.
To your point, though, to your point, like all those bands that you mentioned, like you guys, the Red Chord, Animosity, those are all bands that get mentioned in the. Yeah, you're good. Those are all bands that get mentioned when talking about who invented deathcore. Like those are all kind of grouped into the same. And same thing could be said for them. Like no one's come out after Despised Icon, nor the Red Chord, nor Animosity, and sounded like them. Right?
No.
But I think it was like an early proof of concept of the genre, that specific genre blending that hadn't really been done before, and maybe more so also the bands that kind of helped popularize it, if anything, right? Like for sure,
like
there's
probably
some Joe Schmo local band that also was mixing the two that's never gonna get the recognition, you know, because nobody heard it. But you know, I think those kind of core bands, I think, are always kind of referred to when. In that regard, at the very least, but it's true. It's true though that you can't really say like, oh yeah, those like deathcore became Animosity. I mean that's not a real thing, right?
Sorry, chicken checks. It's good.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
You got to make sure.
It's gonna
not good enough chicken that's deadly, my man.
Wife made some chicken adobo. And it's delicious. She's half Filipino, so it better be delicious. You know, her mom will kill her.
We're gonna get a live review here on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, it's good. Another band, Bodies in the Gears of the Apparatus.
Oh hell yeah!
Terminally, You're Bored of Ghost. I'm trying to think of other like local bands around that area at the time that were doing like the grind with like the fight riffs, basically, you know what I mean, or shit like that.
You mentioned Circle of Dead Children earlier too. That you know,
that fucking band, like when the band that probably made me want to like start doing like ridiculous shit vocally was probably Circle of Dead Children, because the vocals are all over the place, the music's all over the place too. Like Genocide Machine, that album's fantastic. Anything they put out. Was it Human Harvest was another one? Vocals just all over the fucking place. And it's just like a guy doing everything, and it's not always didn't always sound good, but it sounds disgusting. Another band that is probably one of my favorite vocalists ever. They call Calabas. You ever heard? I think they were on Willow Tip.
Okay.
Album called Product of Hard Living. Vocals are absolutely disgusting. The music's so fucking cool. Short-lived band. Yeah, just disgusting vocals. It just sounds gross. Like dudes, like they're, and maybe this speaks to a larger thing with like the deathcore thing. Like a lot of deathcore vocalists, and probably the reason why I don't pay attention to like 90% of the genre. A lot of them sound the same, or they don't stand out. And that's for good or bad. Like a lot of the dudes who do the super guttural shit, it all just sounds the same to me. And it never resonated with me like a lot of like some death, because even death was the same shit going on. But you know, the only dude that sounds like fucking Frank from Southpaw, John Tardy from Obituary. Nobody else sounds like fucking John Tardy. Sherwood, the original Skinless fucking vocalist, like, and I think is he back in the band now? But like his vocals at the time, like progression towards evil, and Foreshadowing Demise. Those albums are ridiculous, like just fun slam death metal shit. Like, and I don't know, probably a lot of deathcore bands would say that they were influenced by a lot of that shit too, and not like Deadwater. Maybe we were there as a piece of the puzzle, but I think their bands, yeah.
Do you have like a thing that you would attribute that to? Kind of like vocals now sounding more samey, or what it was back in the day that made it so? Like, you thought about giving this thought at all?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's hard to say. Let's see if I rack my brain if I go back. If we're going to talk about the deathcore genre specifically, I mean, The Spy stood out, still stands out. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
I hear those dudes, and if they're on a guest track and I'm not paying attention, I'm like, is that Alex? Is that Steve? I'm like, check. Oh yeah, okay, so it is. Like, there's a fucking, Animosity, same thing. Like, and not exactly like an amazing death metal vocalist compared to people who get lauded these days, but great fucking voice, great delivery. It matched the fucking music. So if you go from there, from like where the deathcore scene jumped off, let's say would you consider like when Job probably popped on, and like Job and Whitechapel, obviously the two big heavy hitters when it happened, but Phil stands out because he was one of the first that were doing it like the way he did, still does it. Johnny from fucking John for Cowboy also has a unique voice. Everything that come after that, and I could probably think of bands here and there too. They'll probably, oh yeah, I can recognize their voice here and there, but a lot of them are just like, nothing stands out. Nothing stands out. That'll be just like a old man curmudgeon shit. It's just, it's whatever, it's fucking this new shit, because it's like being in a band like Deadwater, and then playing with a lot of those bands. A lot of bands would say that I was a huge influence, and that's a huge, like, that's cool. I'm like, it's flattering. Yeah, it's fine, but not a lot of dudes like stood out to me, I guess, in a way. Like,
a big conversation. I think, by the way, it's something we talk about a lot, because you could be the best in the world technically,
yep,
but personality, I call it personality, it makes no sense, but the unique factor, the way you do things, the creativity behind it, the way of like,
yep,
you hear a song and you're like, yep, that's them. Like you mentioned, the Spiced Icon, for what it's worth, to be able to still have that right now after all those years, like, to me, they're the proof that they didn't have to change or become something else or whatever. I'm not saying, I mean, they evolved on many ways,
yep,
but I just mean, you put the new album right now, and I'm sorry, we would have been just as happy to hear that back then, if that makes sense. We've been like, awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah,
we would probably have been like, if you go way back, would have been like, oh my god, what's that production? Like, how did they manage to do that? That would be the only thing. But I think this applies to any scenes, the unique factor, the way you, because that's how you connect. Even if you tell me that person is the best, great, but that's not, I would personally prefer like a not as good vocalist, maybe, or just somebody who's, even if it's, I'm not kidding, like even if it's one tone, maybe it's his
Yeah.
voice, whatever,
Yep.
fine. If that works and it's amazing and stuff, I don't care if you could do all the all the all the sounds in the universe. It's cool, but it doesn't mean
That's like a huge focus now. Like whenever, because look, we do rage bait the people a little bit on social media into talking about this stuff, but like that, but like a lot of the comments turned out to be that sort of discussion. Like, oh, but this one is like inarguably like a better vocalist. I'm like, what are we saying here? What is the, you know, and they're saying that from the perspective of like they have more technique or more range or more this or can go higher or lower or this or that. And I'm like, dude, everyone's missing the point. Like we're creating music, we're creating art here. Nobody gives a fuck or shouldn't give a fuck at the very least about how technically good someone is, right? And you said it a couple times and I fully fucking agree. Like the side of like, so to me, it's almost charming, if anything. Someone that's like kind of bad, you know.
Honestly.
There's like because not two people sounding kind of bad are gonna sound the same. Like at the very least, it's gonna sound uniquely bad. Worst case, you know.
Yep.
I prefer that to a lot of things. And look, we've been proven so many times over the years that like that's the stuff that stands out. A stands out, and B stands the test of time. Like every time,
Yep.
right?
That's something you need actually to prosper and still be there. Way earlier in the conversation, you were mentioning the cool new metal bands. I'm a big new metal person as well. So like when you said Static X, it's one of the ones I love. I like a lot, and you wouldn't wonder if it's them or not. It's pretty damn easy to tell. Like, oh yeah, that's it. It's them. You know, and spending a lot of time to be it's not bad to be, it's cool if you have like all the tools in the toolbox, I guess. You can do everything. It's cool. But the more we talk with people, the more we notice that a lot of vocalists that might appear as they only have one tone, we tend to realize that they can do way more than that. It's a creative choice, what serves the song, what serves that project, and how they express themselves. So they could be showing everything, but they prioritize the music itself and what it should be and how they feel it. Not to sound dramatic, but seriously, feeling should be a big part of it. Like, I know I sound like a moral teacher or something, but like it really should be a part of how you write. You said it through the conversation. You were feeling that stuff. It's just how it was. It was instinctive almost, more than just like, oh, here's that technique with like use that. You know what I'm saying? Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think back in 2006-7 the producer would be like, did you use that technique on the, can you try just this technique instead? Maybe open your, like, I don't think it was a thing much.
It's like lower your Adam's apple a half a centimeter, and you'll get the perfect tone right there.
Place your head a little bit, tilt your head, and then.
So it's like that's the level of, like, I think because I became a vocalist, that's like the level of dork shit I can't stand. It's like, just fucking get out there and do it. Don't be a fucking nerd about it. And it's that, I guess that aspect has bothered me, but it's also like I don't fucking care either at the same point, because you look at
you know, to each their own ultimately. All right, it's like
it's like, because nobody's gonna say like what's Will from Loner Shore, like, I can't. It's gonna sound off. I can't stand listening to Loner Shore, but the kid's got some fucking chops. Like, he's talented. The whole band is fucking talented. I mean, they had created something that stands out. Yeah. He stands out. But I can't. It just doesn't jive with me. And
it's just fine.
Yeah, and I remember in Fit they opened a show that we played in Jersey somewhere, and you can even tell back then that they were going to be a big band. And I obviously don't think Will was in the band at the time. It was probably one of the vocalists or some shit. Yeah.
Probably Tom.
Yeah. Same thing with like Rivers of Nile. Same thing. Like, we played with them around the shit.
The Summer Survivors, was that the thing?
No, they opened a couple of shows we played. One was it was called the Meat Locker in Jersey.
Hmm.
Another one was a small fest, I think somewhere might have been Pennsylvania or something, but same thing. You tell those guys are um very fucking talented, like writing, everything else. Jake, actually, the old vocalist of Rivers, is like one of my favorite vocalists of any modern band that's come out a long time. Just his tone is so fucking cool and unique, and I loved his voice. Like, and it sat in that band so well. But even the new stuff sounds great too. Like the new River shit is amazing. Like I still love it, but I miss Jake's voice, as unique as it was too. But
Oh, but you do have a good point though, because yeah, it's undeniable. You talked about Lorna Shore. Like you cannot even objectively say that like they don't have talent. I mean, come on, come on, dude.
yeah,
Like
you're
of course,
stupid. Yeah, there's no way to.
it's not even like it's I won't even take you seriously if you tell me they don't have talent.
Yeah.
That would be
They wouldn't be
sure.
where they were on top of it. Like,
Come on.
yeah,
Like
it's crazy.
that Austin, that drummer, like the entire, as you said, to your point, every single person in that band, and Will included. But to your, that's what I want to add though. The way they do it, it's their thing. The way Will's doing his stuff. It's not my thing that I'm listening to all the time, but it's made in a way that they're recognizable and it's their thing and stuff. It's just now there's 50 billion bands kind of following that. I think that's what's happening. I'm not saying it wasn't like that back then, but I think it's fair to say there was less of a chasing the moment type thing, maybe because social media wasn't as much. It was there, but it wasn't as just like we need like what the message that everybody understood is we need the craziest noise as much as we can. We're gonna get the moment. That's the message that people got from it. Whereas if you look within the band and we talk to them and you can look it up, they were just friends being like, oh, what if I do that? And then they did something and it ended up like that. So for them, it's genuine and it's cool. And people were like, oh, they're the noise. For them, seriously, it was just one of those things that happened. But to me, it's the rest of people, or the only message you got from that was, I'm doing all the noise. We're doing all the noise now. Like, that's what we're focusing on. So it's taking away from the experience, I think. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent, but that's
no, that's fine. I think because with bands like that, the music itself is not all over the place. Like, maybe some like Lorna Shore is not like despised. So a vocalist like Will has the room to do that shit over the things they're doing because it is cinematic in a way, and it calls for shit like that, and it makes it much cooler. I think this is similar with like Slaughter to Prevail. It's like I don't want to say it's like gimmicky or anything like that. It's just like you got these two vocals who are doing like ridiculously fucking crazy shit with their vocals, and it fits in what they're doing. It's just like, and 20 or at least like 20, almost 25 years ago when I started doing all this shit, I was trying to do gutturals, hardcore screams, mid high. I was trying to do all that shit, but I also like I didn't want to put like the Brie vocals in there, even though like bands like Premier Border Ghost and like the band already locally were doing it. Like I would do them in like practicing and shit, and I would do them live, fucking around, because again, like I wouldn't take shit seriously, so I would just do weird shit live and make funnier noises live. But on the recording, I keep it more straightforward in a way. Like that last Deadwater, the slap. The last track we put out,
does that have no lyrics? Is that
no? There's lyrics. There's lyrics in the whole song.
Okay.
There's but in the track that was released, we left it the way it was. It was unedited, and I'd done some like breeze in there for the fun of it to fuck around. There was like a Michael Jackson like in there in the background. I'm doing like these converged saddest days, singing high pitched like falsetto like vocals, real oddly in the background. Like we were just fucking around making weird shit with my vocals, and then we ended up like keeping it and just went out there like that. And I was like, well, fucking, it's out there now. Who cares? Like, it was just like our sense of humor was like dumb, also like sarcastic bullshit, 20-year-old edgy dudes. Like, it just, we grew out of it, probably would have been more serious in life. Who fucking knows? We would have gotten less serious and just taking the piss out of the whole thing.
more of the intention. Like the conversation we have right now, it's a lot about intention. If you take a moment, like I love Waking the Cadaver. It's like one of my things that I like, one of my bands that I love a lot, and it's ridiculous, just the noises and stuff like that. But it's super genuine, and it's them, and that's what they do with their music. So I think intention is probably a big part of it.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
That's what I'm.
Yeah, it also makes it that much better musically too. Like, see, that's another band like I never got into. Like, for whatever reason, Wake the Cadaver.
Okay.
But like other probably bands at the same time, like Implosive Disgorgence, I think is fucking ridiculously awesome.
Mhm.
And I was surprised like put out that EP or whatever last year, and I just like randomly saw it, and I was like, I think I was looking to listen to the old EP, and that wasn't
stumbled
on Spotify, and I
Yeah.
was like, they got new shit out, and I like heard it, and I was like, fuck, this is awesome.
Okay,
And
this
then-
Nate, this
Sorry.
confirms it because they've probably been brought up like five episodes in a row at this point.
Oh, really?
So I'm coining it now. Implosive Disgorgence are your favorite band's favorite band's favorite band.
No, they're sick. That's the problem. Like, I remember like the whispers of like dudes at shows back in the day when that first EP dropped, where they put like a track out somewhere. It was like people were like, "Oh, those vocals aren't real. He's fucking doing something." I was like, "Nah, it sounds real to me because I could do that. Like, I don't see why he couldn't fucking do that." And then
You're like the only guy in the country who's able to have that opinion, but I digress.
It's just like just
or
you.
guy, like I remember thinking it was so stupid. The music was sick, and I think they were getting accused of like drum trigger, like super. But bands at the time too were like, that's the time when like drum replacement and like quantifying triggers and your drums and stuff was coming out of time, and you'd see a band live and you'd be like, oh, the drummer's not that good. But when I was in Through the Eyes of the Dead, the last tour I did, actually I think it was the last show I did with Through the Eyes of the Dead, it was at the end of the As Lay Dying tour. We skipped a show in Florida with All the Remains, thankfully, to go play with the Acacia Strain in New Orleans. And Implosive Disgorgence opened the fucking show, and I was like, when I got there, I saw them on a flyer, and I was like, wait, what? And the fucking sound sucked for the venue. I think it was the High Ground in New Orleans, notoriously like just dirty venue with a bad sound. But Implosive played, and it was awesome. I was just sitting there like, this is fucking. I get to see this band because I don't think they really played a whole bunch of shows. And
No, I didn't. Yeah,
for a
they didn't
while,
play
and then
crazy
didn't
about
do
it, yeah.
anything. So I was to have seen it and just be there and witness it. I was very happy to like check it out. And it was just like it was fucking sick. Yeah, it was fine. It was awesome. Yeah.
Just hearing you in your bands, how it was, I absolutely love the fact that everything there wasn't, as somebody who overthinks everything, it's awesome to hear that it was just you're in the moment, do your music, it's awesome right now, you're laughing with your friends. There are probably tons of moments on all the music we talked about that it was basically you guys laughing, being like, it's going in there, fuck that shit's going in there, it's fucking funny, I don't care. And I think just to tie up like the whole conversation, I think we need to bring that back as opposed to it's going to make great content type thing, which is obvious. Everybody's going to be like, yeah, of course. But seriously, that's what people connects to. The irony, I think, is you would get more results as just being as weird as you guys are and as you just in the moment, as opposed to just let me set up there and there and there, and then you're gonna walk in. You know what I'm saying? Like it's more theatrical, I think now, and it's coming from somebody who's making content. Like I'm as guilty on a lot of things, but musically, I think it's way harder to connect with people that are like with that intention behind, as opposed to just friends. That's what MySpace was.
Yep.
With all due respect, idiot friends just making stuff together, laughing. And people loved it. So
yeah, fucking 16-year-olds bullshitting with no gear whatsoever, shitty recordings, and somehow this guy and I, what we always go back to, those fucking shitty ass recordings with all the technology in the world that exists now, somehow the dog shit recordings of 16-year-olds in their bedrooms are still the things we go back to. So I think, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I
fully
don't
agree with
like
that
too much
statement.
polish myself, man. It's just takes away the heart of it, you know. It's like I like kind of crappy recordings. Like there's and like the not perfect, like you listen to None So Vile and like it's not
Yeah.
perfect. It's but it's amazing because you feel like drumming wise, like flows might not get to the end of the measure, whatever he's fucking doing, but he gets the next part and it just keeps on fucking going. And it sounds like somebody who is determined to finish the fucking song is faster than he probably should be playing in the first place. Which is also fucking cool.
Lord Worm is the same thing, right? Like Lord Worm it's that same thing where he's not on a fucking grid.
Yeah.
He's just fucking flowing.
Yeah. Later on in life, when I started like paying attention to the vocals on None So Violent shit, I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? Like there is no rhyme or reason to where it's going, where it happens and shit, and it's just, but it's fine.
Works.
It works just fine. But I will tell you, Mike DeSalvo on fucking Whisper Supremacy and I think big. Like I saw Cryptopsy when he was singing for him, and it was fucking awesome. I don't fucking care. I don't think I ever saw the Lord Worm. Maybe once. I think I saw DeSalvo twice. And those are also just, it was good either way. I don't fucking care. I like his approach. He was like a beefy hardcore dude fronting like the coolest fucking death metal band ever. So yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
Before moving off of Deadwater, we do need to. I just want to circle back to this one thing. We've been talking about the origins of deathcore here.
Here we go.
Okay.
Nate Johnson. Who invented deathcore?
I don't fucking know, man. Because it happened at the same time that we were doing what is also probably considered deathcore at the time. I can't say that we were influenced by other bands that we probably thought were like deathcore or death metal and hardcore. I feel like Eternal Suffering might get mentioned a lot, right? Like they were from our area. Their drummer, Chad, was like a hardcore dude in a fucking death metal band. Like after Eternal Suffering, he was in a band called Back of the Neck, which was just like this fucking beatdown hardcore band from Massachusetts.
So no one's surprised.
Yeah, and I think if you read like the original liner notes for the Eternal Suffering CD, like his like thank you list is like it says something like hardcore for fucking life. So I mean that's a mixture of it there. Whether you think Eternal Suffering like the other guys in the band that would be more death metal, and that's the band that they were trying to do, because some other Eternal Suffering shit isn't as heavy as some of their other shit. It isn't as core as some of their other songs. But they definitely had those fucking fight riffs. I think I think of like Dehumanize or Internal Bleeding. I think if deathcore started anywhere, it would have started in fucking New York for sure, by like one of those bands from that area. Just because you had a lot of melding in New York with great bands like Suffocation or Skinless. Well, is it probably fucking New York? Is it Immolation or Incantation? I always forget which one is from that area. I'm gonna draw a blank of probably other awesome New York fucking death metal bands too, but like Internal Bleeding, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they respectively had like a crazy hardcore scene and a crazy death metal scene, right? Like they had both in New York.
Yeah, but I don't know who else, but I that actually coined the term deathcore, like what the majority of it has become and what it kind of has been adopted by as. I don't know. It's like I think where it came from, I don't know the actual band you could start it with, but I feel like a lot of it came from the influence of death metal bands like Cryptopsy having heavy parts, and then like people who wanted to make bands also being like, I like seeing people get hit in the face at like Shattered Realm shows. Like that's cool too. Let's put those together, like, or like All Out War, not a death metal vocals, but they had, for sure death metal riffs. But we're, a hardcore band or metallic hardcore band if you want to get silly about it. Yeah, it's hard to say.
I love it. I mean, that's a perfectly fine answer, my man.
Because to think of it like, to attribute Deadwater Drowning as a deathcore band, it works because we're definitely death metal and we wanted mosh parts, so that's definitely core. And I don't think we were trying to be a death metal band. I don't think we were trying to be like a grind band or anything else. It was just like, we wanted blast beats and fight riffs kind of thing. So I guess that's what makes a deathcore band in a way. So
Yeah,
it's
well,
like,
to be clear, I mean, it's all after the fact, right? It's all hindsight at this point, because none of these bands, to your point, were calling themselves deathcore, and then for a minute even would have wanted to be called deathcore. Even
it was a bad term for a while.
This whole thing, so
And I think
it's definitely a revisionist thing that we're doing here.
Yeah, I think I feel fucking silly for not even mentioning Suicide Silence when I talk about Job in Whitechapel with like Despise too, but I think probably the first band that I heard and that I thought it really embodied like the deathcore sound probably would have been Despise Icon, honestly. Because I think I listened to the fucking Alex episode as well. I went back and listened to some of the episodes of like people I like. For your pod after we talked about getting on here. And I think you said something about like actually like mixing hardcore riffs with grind and death metal shit. It's like they were the band that did that. And I was like, I don't really, aside from like Animosity, I don't think there's another band that mixed like hardcore riffs like that with the grind and the death metal
the way they did.
Style of vocals and hardcore vocals too. Like, because they did like the hardcore vocals between Alex and Steve with the fucking super gutturals shit Steve did. Like, and I think that's what makes them unique and stand out.
Still now.
I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy that we can possibly attribute Despised Icon as being one of the first, if not the first, like deathcore band to put it so clearly, like the melding of the genres.
Yeah.
And I still think to this day they are still the best example of, like, if someone asks me like what is deathcore, put on some Despised Icon and like that's like as clear as day, like what deathcore is, like the two distinct genres that are on full on display. There isn't another band that's ever done it like that.
They're the only 50-50 deathcore, because like if you take, as much as like I'm giving credit to everybody, but there's usually bands are going to be more on one side or the other. I would 100% say that Suicide Silence isn't that much hardcore. It's cool, they have breakdowns and stuff like that. They've never been like, there's no hardcore riffs in their parts and stuff like that. And I'm saying Suicide Silence, I could say Whitechapel, and depending, but most bands, but Despised Icon, since the very beginning, for me at least, 50-50. You go into a hardcore riffs, you play that, you would feel that you're in a hardcore show, because Alex's vocals are seriously perfect for those parts. And then boom, Steve's comes in, you're at a freaking grind core, like crazy slam show, and then they're together and you're like, what is going on? So that's the essence, I think, to your point, that's the definition of what deathcore is. And no one, it's also blowing my mind that no one managed to replicate or do something like that. They're the only ones still now who managed to achieve it. So it's pretty impressive.
I think later on down the line, you probably could have there's probably some other bands that were like more of a hardcore band with death metal parts, like Murder Death Kill.
Okay.
And if you listen to them,
that whole
like,
wave,
that's like
the Years Spent Cold, Murder, Death, Kill, Suffocate, early Suffocate, like that sort of stuff. Like,
Oh yes. Like the first Suffocate. I love all the Suffocate, everything Suffocate did, but the Orange Oakland freaking.
Yeah. I think you have a point though. I think the ones that are more like hardcore, like influenced, seem to have more of the two. Like the hardcore parts, it's like you got an actual fucking two-step in there.
You're
like
right.
It's a very hardcore energy, but they de facto, if if they're not just a hardcore band, what makes them deathcore is the fact that they've also got like blast beats or some shit that makes them a deathcore band. So it's maybe more obvious with those types of bands than to your
point.
I think a lot of the more death metal leaning deathcore bands kind of just sound like death metal.
The line is blurry. More, I love those bands. Like I'm big like An Autopsy, Suicide Silence, like those. It's great when it's a lot that metal. It's cool, but it's true that the moment you have hardcore riffs and the rest, like it's undeniable. You cannot if you're deathcore automatically. So
I think one band that is, you probably can't even say it's obviously not even in any way deathcore, but a band like Kindaria, if you ever listen to them.
I don't think I did.
They've been brought up before. They're an East Coast band, right?
Dude,
Am I crazy?
New York band.
Yeah, okay.
Another early band, like late 90s, that like I heard for the first time and it was like blew my fucking mind. Their early shit, like their first full length, I think it's the first length, Beyond Reasonable Doubt. The singer, like they do a lot of crazy time signatures, messing with some like real deal like New York style hip hop shit. Also mixed with some jazz ensemble parts. And it all works together. But Carly's vocals, hardcore singer, but the earlier shit, he does some parts that are straight up, they sound like guttural, like Frank Suffo death metal style vocals.
Sick.
And I think part of that also too, you mix like bands that were coming out of time, like Candaria, even other New York bands like Marauder and shit. Like you have these bands that were like a hardcore band, but the riffs were fucking metal and death metal. But you know, the people that come out of the scene were definitely hardcore crowds and shit. And I think that influenced a lot of that stuff again with like the New York, the death metal scene that was happening out there too. Like Internal Bleeding again for sure. One of the earlier fucking bands that was like the death metal band with like a hardcore delivery when it came to like mosh parts and shit.
You mentioned a few times you kind of tried to imagine what Deadwater Drowning would have sounded like if they had kept going. But is that not what the final battle kind of is?
In a way, the final battle stemmed from before Deadwater. So here's where the timeline's going to get blurry. Before Deadwater broke up, we got our friend Steve playing guitar. John, our drummer, taught him all the guitar parts. He learned how to play the Deadwater songs. We were playing that. And we did, I think, a few shows that. Do we do the final battle in there or did that start later? Man, it's hard to say. But we had our drummer. No, because the Deadwater broke up is what happened, I think. Because that's when I got the call to join Premonitions of War. I basically fill in for a tour at Premonitions of War. I was working at Newberry Comics in Nashville, New Hampshire. And I got a call from Dustin, the drummer of Premonitions of War. And he said, hey, like we're in the middle of the tour. We just kicked our singer out. Can you like get on a flight and come finish this tour? And I was like, well, I got to quit my job, come out. Yeah, fuck it. Why not? Like
now type of thing?
Yeah, pretty much right now. Like I left, I got on a flight the next day. You know, I had, I think their album had just come out, Lipton Kowloon. So I had to learn, I learned a bunch of the new songs. I was familiar with the older EP and shit. And I think I learned like 12 songs or something on the flight over, just over and over my head, trying to learn this shit and then working out the bugs. That tour was with Macabre and The End, which was a really weird fucking tour. The End's awesome. Love that band. But Macabre can eat shit. They were fucking weird assholes. Maybe we didn't get to know them that well, but they were just fucking weird assholes. I watched it. They played some like song in like German one night in Boston, and some guy was Sieg Heilen in the pit, and he went home with some lumps that night for some other people at the show that didn't like him doing that.
As he should, for what it's worth.
Yeah, bye-bye. And funny enough, I knew the guy who it was too, and I recognized him. I was like, oh, yeah, not surprised. He used to work at a fucking...
that checked out, yeah.
Yeah, he used to work at a skate shop in the mall in Nashua. And he was always a fucking dickhead. So I didn't like him. Then I saw him there, and I saw his get ass beat, and I was like, well, I guess that's what happens when you're a Nazi. So it was like on that tour when I was out with Premonitions, both I think Seth from Deadwater and John both called me like, I can't fucking work, but they were like oil and water, the bassist and drummer John. They didn't like each other at all. Just butted heads all the fucking time. Just two completely different fucking people. He's like, I'm fucking done playing with this shit, dude. Like, I can't handle him. He sucks. Like, both of them pretty much said the same thing. And I was like, well, and Premonitions was like, well, you want to join the band? I was like, sure. That's when I joined Premonitions of War. And the final battle just kind of started as like a side project with our buddy Mo on drums, who was in a lot of other bands locally playing. I actually like met him at shows. I think I met him at Hellfest, New Jersey, when Premonitions of War played. And it was shortly after that I saw him at a show in New Hampshire, and I was like, "Oh, you're from around here?" And then like from there we just hit it off. Then I saw him like his band playing shit. And he was an awesome drummer and just like awesome dude all around. Like he's still one of my fucking most favorite people on the planet. He hits me up every once in a while, say hi, just kind of check in. It's that kind of thing. But it just kind of blossomed from there because we just turned into a thing where I think Steve and him were just writing songs. We're just like jamming. It just turned into a thing. And we're like, fuck it, we'll just play some more Deadwater songs and stuff too. And we did a show and played some Hatebreed covers, and that was fun. We're just fucking around.
Mm-hmm. So, so there's a whole thing too with like, there's like music from this band, but
Yep.
you guys decided to put it out 15 years later. Like, what's the
Yeah,
what's the story here?
We recorded it with Johnny Faye from Deadwater when he had his studio, and we just kind of like
broke up before it came out, or like what the fuck? Okay.
No, now it's all coming together. See, I don't think about this shit, so now I had to think about the timeline.
That's what we're here for.
I was asked to try out for Through the Eyes of the Dead.
Mm.
And when that happened, the final battle, I played some shows before that, and I think in there is when I was also playing bass in the Network
at the same time. Sure.
Yes, and that's the band I was in for like 2 years, and I just loved playing bass in that band. It was just absolute chaos.
Some of my play instruments.
Yeah, I played bass. I used it more like a baseball bat, just swung it at people, like a drunk asshole. Yeah. I took a tuning peg to the head a few times. I landed a tuning peg in our guitarist head a few times. I hit our vocals a few times in the head. Like, we had many bloody shows. My first show with the Network, when I played with them, the guitarist Pete, halfway in the middle of a song, he just comes at me and grabs me by my fucking neck and just choke slams me off the stage, like, while I'm playing bass. Like, he's playing guitar, we're off the stage. It was hilarious. Like, that's a Network show. It was absolute fucking chaos. Just and hilarious all the time. Smart fucking dudes. At the same time, we're doing the final battle thing, and we played some shows. And I think it kind of started because we had played some riffs, and then somebody asked us to play like a Deadwater reunion set. And Johnny Faye wasn't interested, and I was like, okay, well, I guess we'll just do the final battle, and we'll say we're playing some Deadwater songs. That's kind of how it happened. I think we played like 2 shows like that where we played Deadwater songs.
Yeah, I have here like
we didn't play many shows.
Seven Plagues, like reunion show, and that you guys played some songs from Deadwater on that.
Yeah, that was a wild ass show. That show, the Seven Angels guys, because before that, Premonitions of War had toured with Misery Signals. Actually, Misery Signals, Internal Bleeding, and 6 Feet Under was the tour I went on with Premonitions of War. So I knew the Misery Signals guys.
Such a random fucking lineup.
Yeah, it was never toured with 6 Feet Under. I'll say that. That's all I can tell you.
Okay.
Maybe they're better now. I've had this whole thing where I've hated Chris fucking
They're here
Barnes
tomorrow.
ever since.
Noted.
Here's the thing. Back in the day when I started listening to death metal, I awfully loved early Cannibal fucking Corpse, right? Like, and I loved the first 6 Feet record. The second one fucking sucked ass, but Maximum Violence is also awesome. I had heard stories about touring with 6 Feet Under from other people. Like, don't do it. You're going to regret it. They're taking your money to pay their guarantee. No one's going to be there when they play, that kind of thing. So, oh yeah, here I go. I'm spilling fucking tea, whatever. I'm sure maybe it's different these days. I don't fucking know. but they were weird from the get go. I wanted to go into it being like, whatever, maybe you guys were fucking nerds. You couldn't hang with Chris Barnes, what? Maybe we'll try and hang out. And he'll be different. But now from the get go, it was like the guitarist almost fought their fucking like security guy like the first day of the show because he like came on while we were like just finished our set because we were direct support to 6 Feet Under, Premonitions of War. If that tells you anything about this fucking tour, so yeah, it was fun times, but. So anyhow, I digress. The Misery Signals guys, I knew some of them from the tour. They were playing the Seven Angels show, and they asked me to try out for Misery Signals because Jesse had left at that time. So
Misery Signals, Nate Johnson could have been a thing.
Yeah. So
we missed out, I think. Maybe.
Nah, I don't think he did. Carl's a great vocalist. Jesse's good too.
But I would love to hear your voice. I would be very curious, man.
Sure, there's got to be an audition track somewhere. Come on, Nate. Don't
Johnny Faye's got it. Yep. There's that one, and there's a Bury Your Dead track or two lying around too when Russo left the first time. So let's see here. So they asked me to join. I did the tryout I did a track for them, and they're like, "It's amazing. It's just too brutal, and it's not exactly what we're going for." And I was like, "Yeah, no, I get that." And I was like, but I was stoked. I was like, "Fuck, I love this. I love 7 Angels, 7 Plagues." I saw them play it like
so much more difficult to bear now, knowing that
what could have been.
Yeah, just hearing that
shit, it would have been awful. I had at the time too. I did not understand my voice either. Like things I could do live. No, like things I could do live, I can't do in recordings for whatever reason. Like I can't make it work. Okay. You stick a 58 in my mouth, sure I can do it, whatever. But if I got to stand there and scream, I didn't get good at that until I started recording with Will for Finish shit. And that still took a little bit, but. And lyrically, who would have knows what kind of garbage I would have wrote? Carl and those dudes, or the Misery Signals guys, probably also wrote a lot of the shit for the band too. But all those dudes are amazing.
No, but I get it because for them, like when you go with gutturals and stuff like that, you can, but it's so much more. I don't want to call it like an emotional band, but I mean like the melody, like the So
it would have been such a departure from what they were doing.
Exactly, but it's just for us nerds, it's two worlds blending together that I would have been like.
It's like what if shit.
Exactly. I mean, we could have had at least a couple tracks, maybe something like that. That would have been great.
There's one or two out there floating. Well, Johnny's got him. They're probably the ones got him. Him and the Misery Signals guys.
It's just as great as Misery, because it's one of the best bands, like period. But like as great as it was, I'm pretty sure your vocals was probably in terms of heaviness, like their most heavy part ever here, and you probably sent it and they were just like, well, that's changing a little bit of our story here. We went from this to hell all the time, so I think that's.
But Carl still had like a much deeper like voice. He was beefy sounding too, and I was like, when I heard it, I was like, I could have done that. And I was like, nah. But I didn't. But again, at the time, I had no idea what I was doing with my voice when it came to recording shit too. So like it was the same thing with the Bury Your Dead tracks. Like I think they probably already had their.
That would have worked.
I think it was.
That would have worked real well. I think.
That's
maybe, but that was fun too. Like I sent the track to Slim. And he said same thing.
What track did you do? Do you remember?
I did 2 tracks for Bury Your Dead. I'm trying to think what they were. They're off the Beauty and the Breakdown album. I think they're the first track and the 4th track, if I remember correctly, which ones they were.
I mean, the bigger songs on that is like House of Straw and like.
I think House of Straw was one.
That's the first one. 4th track is 12th Stroke at Midnight.
No.
Anyways, details, but
I could drop the other ones I did too, the ones that I kind of bailed on, shit like that. where I got the notoriety for like quitting bands and stuff. Yeah, there's a couple of them that I like for whatever reason bailed because I think I was just doing way too fucking much with like other bands and shit. And I was just like, I would say yes to bands that I fucking liked, and then I would just have too much going on. I'd be like, oh, sorry, I just can't fucking do it. And like working in life, I was like, saw that shit. Yeah. Like I tried out for Invocation of the Heck. And I had some of the new tracks they had, I was going to record for those, and I started writing for them. And I just kind of like cut it out with that. I did.
They're recently like coming back and shit too, I think.
Are they? I hope. I mean, that band was cool.
I think so. I mean, they've been active on socials.
They were unique.
I don't know what that means, but
I think they played at Fest not long ago.
Hmm.
What else did I do that probably nobody really fucking knows about? Band Black Sheep Wall from California.
I don't know them.
Super,
what kind of band are they?
Super fucking down-tuned heaviness, just like members of another band called like Admiral Angry, something else. Their dude, what was his name? Jackson was in the band. I think he was a guitarist. He hit me. I was like, hey, I'm from a band called Black Sheep Wall. We're wondering if maybe you want to fill in for a tour. And I was like, yeah, I love your band. I'll fucking do it. And then like a week or so beforehand, I was like, I can't fucking do it. Like I just didn't have time to fly out. All this shit was going like work, all this stuff I just couldn't get out of, I just should have never said yes. And I one of those things I just kicked myself in the ass for just not doing and saying, fuck it, I did it. Cause that band was super fucking cool. Yeah, there's probably a couple I'm already forgetting too.
Let's get back to these 3 songs that didn't release, but released 15 years later. But you were recalling the reasoning behind those songs not coming out?
Oh yeah, I think because I joined Through the Eyes of the Dead.
Oh, Through the Eyes.
Yeah, Through the Eyes of the Dead. Yeah, yeah, because Final Battle happened after Premonitions.
Right.
And it was just like a fun side project thing, just do whatever. Stupid ass dog. And we recorded the songs, and we never like finished them, or maybe we finished them. We just never like ended up like giving Johnny any money for like mixing them or anything like that. We just kind of sat there because then we didn't do anything with the band afterwards. So they just sat there, and then I think John one day just like Merry Christmas and just sent me like the mixed tracks, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot about these. Like I recorded, I was like, heard my voice, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sounds all right, yeah, okay, the music's cool, but whatever. That shit, like, it was just the band was supposed to be not as crazy as Deadwater, but more like more moshy, more we wanted to kind of in a way I want to say like earlier Mastodon kind of riffs, but with like mosh parts kind of. I don't know if that makes any sense. More like progressive metalcore, I think, or metalcore, deathcore kind of thing. Because we definitely had like a 2-step breakdown part, and it was a part that I actually wrote for the song that got put in there because I was kind of at that point I had been playing a little bit of guitar and shit and the bass, whatever too. So I had like riffs that I wanted to use here and there. It's like mosh parts because that's all my fucking hands are gonna do. So I was like, this mosh part's sick. Can we put it in there? And they liked it. Like, cool. I was like, whatever. Change the fucking notes and shit and do whatever you want with it. But I think it's a cool rhythm. It'd be fun to use. So I was like, whatever. But the rest of it, Steve's a cool guitarist. He writes cool shit. So a lot of the Final Battle stuff was stuff that he wrote. And he was from other bands too. He ended up playing in the hardcore band. The fuck was it? Another band from Mass. It was really cool. Shipwreck, really cool, like integrity style hardcore band. Played a lot early 2000s and shit. I think he probably toured the world with them. They were one of those bands that did very good in the States, but did really well overseas and shit. But yeah,
a few of the guys from Deadwater kind of went on to do other like notable bands and stuff too, right? Am I crazy? Did someone go after the Casey Strain and
Seth, the bassist, was in the Casey Strain for a while. Yep. John was in the Red Chord, Johnny Fay, and then at one point John Dow, the drummer, was in the Red Chord. He filled in for like a tour or something. But Johnny Fay was on for the writing process for Pray for Eyes. And after that, I don't think he did much musically in terms of the metal world. He just did his own recording studio, does his own like writing, just does like self-recording shit. He does a lot of stuff with Greg from the Red Chord. They did a lot of like fun projects together and shit. But he didn't do any like other like death metal or anything else crazy, if I remember correctly. Just kind of stuck to himself, worked, and got married and did his thing.
So you talked about how you got into Premonitions of War. I'm assuming you were a fan of the band.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, like,
yep. Yep.
So is that cool? Because that they're like Victory, they're like playing on MTV, they're touring like crazy at this point too. Like you're going into a band that's like I don't know if it was a well-oiled machine. I don't know if that's the term, but things were moving for them probably more than any other band of yours prior, right?
Oh, absolutely. They were on Victory, but I mean, knowing them was when Deadwater toured with them. The True Face of Panic EP was out, and they had an EP before that. That was also awesome, and like that genre of like metallic hardcore is the shit that has probably resonated with me the most. Like if you're talking about bands like Disembodied, Turmoil, like Harvest, I guess you consider like bands like Burnt by the Sun and shit, where it's like dissonant, it's noisy. Um, what other kind of bands? Dillinger. I did end up falling in love with Calculating Infinity later. Canoe. Did I say Coalesce? I hope I did say Coalesce already. A lot of those bands from like that genre that were doing the filthy, dirty, like noisy, dissonant, metallic hardcore shit that were like heavy but weren't like breakdowns, mosh heavy. Premonitions of War was the band that did that, but also had like the fight riffs. You know what I mean? Like I think one of the stickers on the over CDs said something like, it's like Coalesce and Hatebreed in a bare knuckle boxing match. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like the songs are like a minute and a half long. They're filthy.
It's so sick, by the way. Super
Yeah, like,
short songs, like it's awesome.
It's my favorite shit. Like I hate writing for fucking songs that are longer than like 2.5 minutes. So like I don't like shut up. Just give me like a poem to write, like give me a fucking haiku to write and we'll call it a day. But yes, bands like Premonitions of War, like where they just play loud. It's the stops and the stops, the starts and the stops are tight, but everything in between is kind of like a fucking just a wall of sound. And that's the shit that I like. But I appreciate well-oiled machines. So we toured with him when I was at Deadwater, and watching him every day. I was like, this band fucking rules. I like the original singer, Tim, again, a vocalist who doesn't have a great voice, but his sound, his tone is it's awesome. When I heard Left in Kowloon with Brad on, and I was like, ugh, and I saw him live before the album was out, I was just like, ugh, this is not good. He sounded better live than he does in the album, which is, I think that's because it was his first band that he actually did vocals for, so maybe that's part of it. But it was the songs were cool because they were playing one or two songs that were on Kowloon live at the time, and it was just cool to hear the newer shit because I mean their set's only like 15 minutes long when they play, and it's awesome. So then being asked to join, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm down, and that turned me into like a beer drinking, just guttural yelling loud as I can. Yeah, like it was just, but that's what I ended up loving. And we did tour live. Like I said, we did that first little run with them when I joined with Macabre in the end. After that, the next tour was Morbid Angel, Suffocation, and Satyricon. That was wild because, we're like
those years too.
Compared to those other bands, we were like, they looked at us like a hardcore band because we're out there in like cargo shorts and like, whatever. Meanwhile, like half the songs are like blast beats and there's just heavy parts. And I'm doing like, they wanted more of a death metal, like vocal approach for the future of Premonitions of War, mixed with like the hardcore shit, like the old like Coalesce, Burnt by the Sun and stuff like that. And it was like, so the future Premonitions of War, we should have gone something like that, but we never really wrote anything besides like 2 songs that I recorded very poorly myself. And but yeah, we did a lot of shows. I think that year we was in the shows, it probably 150 or 200 shows or something. It just grinded it out, and that's just like it was just like a drunken blur most of the time, just fucking drinking, on stage yelling, and it was like a well-oiled machine. Yes, it was. And it was, but it was it was at the exact same time, it was like we did not give a fuck about anything besides just like, what's up with Premonitions of War? Here's some fucking songs, and if you don't like it, it's fine. We don't care. Like there was no like, oh, we need to tighten it up. It was none of that shit. It was just like to get out, like the guitarist, Pat, Mike, the bassist, Nick, Dawson, the drummer. It was all just like playing as hard as you can, loud as you can, and it's just supposed to be abrasive and loud. And that's like me as a vocalist, that's like where I sit, is like who gives a fuck? Like let's just be obnoxiously loud and heavy kind of thing. It's like that's where I fit, I think, too. But that's what I love musically. So yeah.
What were you guys well received on some of these more like death metal tours and stuff?
Nah, the Morbid Angel Suffocation tour. Steve from Morbid Angel was fucking awesome. He was cool to us. The Stuffo guys were all amazing to us. The Satyricon guys were fucking dickheads, except for I think the one of the guitarists and the keyboardists, I think, who were dating. They were like nice, but the other ones were just like assholes. But I think it was also like a language barrier thing too, where like their sense of humor and just trying to chat, trying to like, just hang with those guys.
Small talk is just
wasn't easy.
not
Yeah.
that,
And I think the singer Satir was just kind of an asshole.
Yeah, but what about crowd wise?
Reception,
like,
the crowd, like we get a lot of people yell like "fuck hardcore" like every night. We're like, yeah. Why is he creeping around in the background? Sees you get his
I love it.
His fucking dead.
I just see the two little eyes.
We saw the whole thing.
What are you doing, man?
Okay, he's chill. He's part of the show, man.
I'm always messing with him. He sits with the wife all the time. Like he's the lapdog for her, but I mess with him and he hates me. But he loves me. That's our relationship.
Love and hate relationship.
Yes. But the reception, I mean, we had like wild shows for sure. Like again, I can't really think of specifically anyone. It's just
but was there maybe a bit more of a we got to win these crowds over type of thing? Like, because to your point, like you guys didn't look the part, but then you did still have blast beats and shit. It wasn't like completely out there, but it is the kind of crowd that would have maybe been more prone to being like fuck breakdowns and we don't mess with this type of thing.
It was definitely a lot of that. But we didn't care though. We were just happy. Like we were Premonitions of War was probably out on that tour because the album was on a Victory. And Eric Rutan had recorded the album. And so that was probably part of that pipeline with that.
Is that how you met Eric?
I met Eric through Premonitions of War, yeah. And then Eric was who got me in Through the Eyes of the Dead.
Yeah. That's cool. Huh.
So the Morbid Suffolk tour was it was fun. There's no way around it. It was a fun tour to be on because I got to watch fucking Morbid and Suffocation every night. Which was like after that, like, who fucking cares who else I play with at this point? Like those bands I grew up listening to, and they're amazing to watch every night. Suffo was like direct support to Morbid Angel, and Morbid Angel was like they didn't have a great set list. I'll say Suffocation had changed up their set list every fucking night. It was different every night, and killing it and making Morbid Angel look, whatever. It's fine, but Morbid Angel was still tight as hell every night. It's just like Suffocation at the time was just killing it.
Yeah.
Had Morbid Angel played some songs from Gateways to Annihilation, maybe they would have done a little bit better, but they weren't playing anything from that album at the time, which I made sure I told Steve I was very disappointed with. Steve would hang out. He was like the only one that would really hang out with Morbid. Like, those guys would like hang out and kick it, but Steve was like from Ohio. And Premonitions being from Ohio, like he was, kind of smaller circles. So he would always kick. He was a super cool dude, always like hanging out, just talking shit. Supple guys, every single one of them was hanging around, just always talking shit, always drinking and partying, like just always like, I don't think anybody ever has anything bad to say about the Supple guys, like that they've toured with them. And I to this day, anytime I ever ran into them at a show or something, they're always like, hey, what's up, man? I'm like, hey, like being like modestly like, hey, what's up, man? Remember me, Nate fucking Premonitions of War? They're always like, hey, what's up, man? Like, oh, hey, hi, yeah. Seeing these dudes, like, it's always like, they're not like Terrence and fucking Derek have always been super awesome. Frank's always fucking awesome. Like, they're just great guys. And I think that's stood the test of time musically, on top of also, again, personality-wise, people, just good dudes.
They were already legends back then, but I feel like even now it's even more...
Oh, dude. They've been a powerhouse all the way fucking through. They've been like a touring band this entire fucking time. I don't even get it, but I mean, kudos to them, man.
You basically cannot say anything about.
It's hard to not respect them at the very least.
Yeah, you cannot complain about that band. You just can't.
They're always tight. They're always heavy. They're one of the very few bands that I was like, well, first of all, the song Legion of Veracity is like one of my like no friend zone mosh pit fight songs. Like if I was a few brewskis deep and that last breakdown comes on in that song, I'm probably punching you in the face. Probably also gonna get a punch in the face, beat up, jumped, whatever. I don't fucking care. That riff is a killer. But they played a song on that tour when we were at in Massachusetts, and I don't think they played it anywhere else at all. It's called "To Weep No More, To Weep Once More." It's off of "Souls to Deny," and there's a part in the middle where it's just this like slow chug part. And I remember stopping in the pit because I was just drunk down there watching the whole time. And I stopped and I got goosebumps because it was so heavy. I was like, oh my fucking God, I'm having like this out of body experience with this fucking riff. And I just stopped and like stared. And I just was like, that was it for the other night. I was like, I'm going somewhere else. I'm gonna go drink. This is just cool. It's like they're one of the few times I had goosebumps watching a band live. I was just like, this is fucking wild.
It's almost hard to explain when that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just something you feel and happen.
Yeah.
Great.
So what you end up recording with Premonitions? Did you re-record that original EP on the compilation?
Yeah.
What's the story here?
That's a terrible story.
We love terrible stories for what it's worth.
Yeah, and Guy, I don't even know if Guy ever got the actual story of what happened with this, because he was talking for a while about re-recording that and putting it out, and then trying to get some new tracks for a split with Benum, a grind band from California. It was cool. I was like stoked to be on a split with them because old relapse band, grind bands. Like I had a couple of their earlier shit, and it was like, that's like the chaotic fucking grind shit that I love, where it's just straight fucking blast beats, like no stopping, no nothing, like awesome. But the studio we went to was like a friend of the bassist Danny's, who really only did like hip hop shit in Toledo. We did it last minute. Guy had like no experience with like recording like live drums and guitars and stuff. The vocals I did for it, I sat in the studio and I got so fucking drunk. I didn't know what I was doing and trying to record this shit. And the mic set up and the playback, I had a hard time hearing myself, because the problem is when I'm doing vocals is like I'm screaming louder than I'm gonna hear in the headphones unless they're super fucking loud. Like I'll have to take them off and do this shit, and then they're like, "Oh, well now we can hear the speaker and the fucking mic," because it's. I must go. I'll just have to I got to figure it out somehow. So it was real bad. My voice sounds fucking weird. We did these two whack fucking covers. Well, the covers are cool, but my vocals are fucking dog shit. Honestly, my vocals are dog shit in the whole fucking thing, because if I did it today, it would sound way better, even though I haven't done vocals really in 10 fucking years. But it's like an embarrassing spot on my vocal career, because it should have been way fucking better. Because those songs are awesome. And it would have been cool to re-record those, because it would have just been cool. I don't know. But the songs would find the way they were anyhow.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, about just the fact that, there's also something that comes, I guess, from hey, I'm going to re-record this guy's vocal parts, There must have been some sort of, I don't know, not necessarily weirdness, but I'm kind of, I guess, posing the question, how did you feel about that in the first place? Re-recording the material that someone else's vocals.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's weird. And it's not like the old singer, they didn't have any bad beef with him. Tim would come out to shows here and there in Toledo. Super, super nice guy, good guy. Talked to him. I always told him I loved his fucking vocals and shit. I obviously did the songs differently when we did them live, because we usually played 2 or 3 tracks from that album live. And then the True Face of Panic, same thing, but we didn't record those. But it is different, because people get used to a certain thing, and my voice is definitely different, but it also fit the things. So it is funny to have done as much time as I did in that band and never actually record, I think, 1 or 2 new songs that we never actually played live. I think maybe once or twice we played them live. And then any other show we did after some point where we did a show in Toledo or something, we just played a lot of Kowloon shit, a lot of True Face stuff, and some songs off of the Glorified Dirt, the first EP.
So you mentioned the split. Are you not on the split?
The Benum split?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on that.
Okay, but those are originals, right?
Covered.
Am I crazy?
Wait, there's two. As I said, we recorded 2 new songs. And there's 2 covers, and I think those are the ones that went on the Benum split.
Ah, okay.
And the cover songs are
because it is 4 songs on the split.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's it's wild.
The re-recording and the split, those both. I mean, you're only in the band for a year and a half, something like that, right? So like both the split and the re-recording, that's like all in the same year.
Yeah, I think we did
Like
it. Yeah, we
ish.
were somewhere like halfway through it. We recorded it through the year that we were touring. I think, pretty sure, because that was. So I don't think Dustin drummed on those records because we were out with Embrace Today and Ion Dissonance.
2004, 5 Ion Dissonance.
Something, yeah, the fucking peak, man. Like Gabe singing, the band was fucking awesome. Love that band. Embrace Today was cool too. Awesome, straight edge hardcore band from Massachusetts.
I don't know that one, but
Yeah, they're like in a very like abrasive, like fast, like old school kind of like dirtier straight edge hardcore band.
okay.
Yeah, they were good. Fun to tour with. And Premonitions had gone out with them before too, with Embrace Today. They went out with them with Burnt by the Sun on a tour, I believe, before I was in the band. So yeah, we had a show in Seattle where I think, yeah, this is what happened. Yeah. I got real drunk because our tour met up with, I think it was the Bury Your Dead, Acacia Strain, and a couple other bands that were touring. Like we met up with them at a show at the Studio 7,
Okay, cool.
which I believe is it in Seattle or is it in
Yeah, Seattle. Yeah.
Seattle, Washington? Yeah. Awesome fucking venue. Great sound.
Yep.
I remember the sound guy was always just this super great dude, was always trying to make sure the band sounded amazing.
That like balconies. It's like a makeshift
Yeah.
balcony. Like the
Yeah. So here's a funny story about that tour. I think it was either that show or another time we came through. The bartenders there were warned that Premonitions of War was not supposed to get drink tickets because we'll probably burn the place down or some shit like that. Because we drank quite a bit. There might have been the show after this because this whole night was fucking wild. We had borrowed a van from Glass Eater from Florida. Because our van we had to start the tour with broke down. The show, I got real fucking drunk. I was moshing during like either Acacia Strain or Bury Your Dead or something. And I'll say a local guy out there didn't like what I was doing. I think I hit his girl. And he bounced my fucking head off. You know the pillars that are in the middle of the floor?
yeah.
Yeah, he like bounced my fucking head off or threw me into it, ripped my ear off. I have this scar in my ear that comes down like an inch. Like my ear was ripped off my head.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I was just like bleeding and shit. I crawled back up the stairs to the bar, and the guy who had done it, because I think I might have stayed down there just like chill out, and I like literally like hands and knees up the steps of the bar. The guy who had done it was talking to a guitarist. Mike was like, "Yo," was like, "Who's your fucking singer?" He's like he moshes like he's from New England or some shit like that. And he's like, "Oh yeah, sorry about that." And it was like this whole thing. And I went up there and I was like, "Hey, sorry, I'm drunk. I was excited to see my friends like Bury Your Dead, Acacia Strain." He's like, "Yeah, no." He's like, "That's cool. I get it." He's like, "Just don't hit my fucking girlfriend." I was like, "No." I was like, "Yeah, you're right, man. I'm cool. I wasn't trying to. I'm just fucking a drunk asshole. I'm sorry, and I'm fine with the ear being ripped off. Like it's all right." And then the end of the night, like it started pouring rain out. I'm still fucking drunk. And like we're all kind of doing our thing. The night's just been like a weird shit show for whatever reason. The tour sucked. There was all this other like nonsense. And I went to like pop the side window on the door shut. You know, like the two latches on the inside, it would pop up and pop out, like that kind of thing. And I went to like, because I'd done it before, I just like popped it and shut it because they were kind of loose. I did that, window shatters on the fucking side of the van when it's pouring rain out.
Oh,
And drummer Dustin like lost his shit. He's like, "Dude, what the fuck?" Like, "That's it, I'm fucking done. I'm going home." Like all this shit. I was like, I was so drunk. I was like, all right, don't care. And so that was it. So then we got Corey from Black Dahlia in the band. Because he was out of Black Dahlia at the time. He came and tried out. He's who ended up playing with us for a few tours and did the drums on that EP re-recording and stuff.
Sure.
So that was the lineup then. We've pretty much been pretty much the same except for the drummer for a while. And then in terms of being in the band, I was in the band, up until about the time I left Fit. We just played shows here and there. We played like a long weekend. We played like random shows with random bands and stuff. And that's kind of how we did it for a while. And then I just, I was just done with music basically.
Yeah.
But we did that first year and a half was, a lot of fucking shows, a lot of touring and shit.
Do you have any favorite shows you remember from that from your time with Premonitions?
Mm.
Like a standout crowd or some, I don't know.
Whenever we played Toledo, any Toledo show we played was usually fun. We played a show in Frankie's. Always good sound there. Always just too many people crammed into a small space. It was always just fucking bananas. Any of the shows we played, I'm trying to think of like tours we played that were really fun, cool. We went out with, I think, BT Bam and Burnt by the Sun. That was fucking fun. Two awesome bands you get to watch. Actually, you know what? BT Bam sucked in that tour because they had not the lineup they had now. It was after like the original lineup had left, and they had some dudes from another band that they were playing things really fast, and like tempos were not like, there was no like groove like BT Bam had found later when they got the guys from like Glass Casket in the band, and then it was like a whole different fucking animal. But they were still good, but like some of the parts are just too fast, no groove, like just no feeling to it. Even though still phenomenal fucking band. Either way you're playing the songs, it's just fine. Burnt by the Sun was always a favorite band of mine. And I did join them for a little while, and they just ended up getting the original guys back, and just never became a thing. But
if you're touring Between the Bird and Me back then, this is like, I guess like right before Alaska, like that kind of like.
I think Silent Circus.
Silent Circus is still like yeah.
They were still playing a couple songs off of the self-titled album, and I think mostly the shit off Silent Circus, I believe. Yeah, Alaska Desert was out at that point. That was like 2004 or 2005,
Yeah, there's such a dope era of Between the Bird. I look like.
Yeah.
Obviously, they went on to be the massive band that they are and all, and people particularly will enjoy Colors. I get it. But like Silent Circus and Alaska for me, dude, I don't know, man. There's something to that style of records that just hit the spot. I think they had the good balance between like the chaotic and being progressive and like weird and shit, but like still sounding cool, like still sounding good. I don't know. That was a cool era of the band, in my opinion.
Yeah. Another band that stood out and stood the test of time and just got incredibly more creative as they went on and shit. Yeah. And still doing it. Super tight too. Like just, I don't know. Bands like that are crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Just always been just like a musicianship on another level in that genre.
So what leads to you leaving Premonitions of War?
Nothing. We just kind of stopped playing shows. Like I said, we never really there was no real breakup. We just stopped doing touring. There was no.
Were like people getting jobs or other bands and stuff?
It was it was just like dudes who just weren't doing the band anymore, and then just getting other guys to fill in. And then the other guys came back, like Nick, the bassist, came back and ended up playing guitar for some of the other like rando shows we would do. There just wasn't any like touring in it. It was just a weekend here and there, or like playing a fest and a couple of days around here, some shit like that. Up until around the same time I was doing Fit for an Autopsy, we played a show shortly before I was just done with all the music, and it just kind of was one of the things where I think those guys the Premonitions guys just kind of got the vibe that I was done with music too, and it was just kind of I'm good. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Did you guys call it? Like, was there like a convo about the band has ended, or it just kind of?
No, it was just
you guys stopped calling each other and that's it.
No, I just see, that's how I made it too. I was like, if I don't see anybody, I don't really talk to them anyhow. I'm just kind of like, that's just how I work. Like, but if I see you, I'm gonna fucking talk to you like I just saw you yesterday, and things haven't fucking changed. I mean, it's one of those things. But I just. And not in like this asshole, I don't need to go on way to talk to them. I've never been that person that just like is always grabbing dudes to talk to them and be like, hey, man. Even though like in my mind, I might be thinking, I wonder how they've been, hope they're doing good. But I just don't go the extra step to be like, hey, how you been? That kind of thing. Like, I think the last time I talked to Mike from Premonitions was when shortly after him and a bunch of other guys from Premonitions got arrested in like some huge brawl in like Cleveland. Some other wild shit that happened. And as like shortly after that, he like texted me, and I almost thought it was like the FBI texting me from his phone, being like looking for fucking weird information on some shit. So I have no fucking idea. I was cagey to respond back to like say something that
yeah.
incriminate or otherwise. You know, I was like, whatever. Like I'm not gonna fucking deal with it. So, and then they announced like they were playing like a fest at some point. I think maybe Michigan or Ohio somewhere, and like Gunface from Red Chord was doing vocals because he had done vocals at one point too before I joined the band. He had filled in.
Okay.
And fucking Gunface, Mike, he's got a great fucking voice too. Like him and Guy both are like two monsters in the same band.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. And because
Yes.
it is interesting though, because I mean there was like hype around the band. Like it was like, and again, like Victory Records, there's music videos on MTV, like the whole thing, right? So it is always interesting when a band like that that's touring a bunch, that's like outside looking in, kind of got everything going for them, and then it kind of just move on, and it doesn't become like a truly career thing ultimately,
Yeah, I don't know what the actual like. I mean, like you said, we heard it a lot from bands too. Like Premonitions of War was like a band's band. Because he played shows, and you would see that the things we did, you could see it in crowds most of the time, didn't resonate, but then bands would be like, oh, we fucking love you guys, like it's that kind of thing. So it was like I can't say it's like people just didn't get it, but it was also the band wasn't like a polished version of other bands like that that really made it. And I think like the signing to Victory and things like that happened before I was in the band happened because of Mike's relationship with people through like working at, I think it was Lumberjack, the old distro shit back in the day, and just being like the charismatic guy that he fucking is, and like he just had that ability to get that extra leg up from other people and shit with like labels and stuff, and again other bigger bands that also liked him, and he had a screen printing shop that he was making shirts for tons of fucking bands.
Okay. He was like in it, like talking to people all day, every day. Just
always,
yeah.
Just always grinding, whether it was like working, when he was at the distro or working a screen printing shit. Like he was always doing something, And I think that was part of why Premonitions got as far as they did when they did. And then when we didn't keep going, it's hard to say why it really didn't. I think because we just didn't really focus on ever writing new shit and just kind of doing it. So it just kind of slowly fizzled out, and people again, probably got busy, or work gets in the way, real life gets in the way to a point where you can't say, oh yeah, let's go do this fucking month-long tour, I get the offer or something. So
that's what I was gonna ask. Like, I'm assuming offers were probably still coming in, or a team of people trying to plug you guys on tours and shit, right? And probably having to say no because of various people having other commitments, I assume.
Yeah. And Mike in that essence would be the dude to talk to when it comes to that shit, because he was like the guy in the band that handled all that shit when it came to like booking and whatever else. Like he was always the guy that, the manager essentially, of anything.
Yeah.
That,
talk. What do you? Okay, maybe to close off Premonitions of War. Like I feel like Premonitions of War is held in a similar regard as Deadwater Drowning in terms of they're like a cool band to like in 2026. I feel like if someone mentions Premonitions of War in 2026, this guy knows ball. It's like it's another one of those like your favorite band's favorite band type of things. And I was telling Yam before we started doing this thing, like you go back on like Wayback Machine. Like I don't know if you've ever used that. You can look up like old dates of MySpace profiles and stuff. So I could go back to Deadwater Drowning's, fucking MySpace profile in 2007, whatever. But like we'll do this all day because we're fucking geeks about that sort of stuff. But the influences section of so many bands back then, from like the crop of MySpace bands that are maybe when it really became deathcore. So whatever, like 6, 7, 8, 9, like that kind of era. all those bands have Premonitions of War as like an influence, you know. They all fucked with that band. So I'm just curious from your vantage point, and obviously you weren't in the band the whole time, so maybe you also have that perspective maybe, but like how do you view like Premonitions of War, like looking back on the band now, like in 2026? Your work aside, you know, like
you know, it's hard to say. It's just because it always was like a truly not giving a shit about really anything, I guess. I don't know. Like, it's like, oh, whatever, fuck it, like that kind of thing. Like not caring about the scene bullshit or caring. Like it was and not in like a gimmicky way. It was just like, you know, talking to other bands and stuff and be like, yeah, but you guys are kind of fucking dorks and saying shit like that, you know, things like that, like taking the piss at everybody else by being that band that isn't trying too hard or whatever. Gucci, shut up. Nobody here. He's probably just barking at. He's and maybe that's part of it, because here's like I'm trying to give an example of that era. Like I don't know, because I think because a lot of bands put effort into a lot of shit, and Premonitions, we didn't really, at least my time in it, we would, you know, we might get a practice in before going on tour. If not, set up the first day on the show, and that's working the bugs out right there on
that's
stage.
the jam. Okay. Sound check.
Like like I wasn't sitting home in New Hampshire like practicing in front of me or my vocals. It's like I would go to work in between for like, you know, a month back home, come out on tour, and I'd do vocals there or some shit. Like that's the way it was. Like nobody was studying shit or playing shit. You know, Dustin might have been at home, you know, drumming, or the guys were playing guitar, but they weren't jamming together in between tours or anything. It was just, okay, we'll go on tour, we'll fucking do it when we get there kind of thing. You know, like I said, we might get a day to practice or something.
You weren't living by them anyways, right? Am I crazy?
No, they were in Ohio, they were in Toledo, and I was always in New Hampshire. Yeah. I live in Dayton, Ohio now, but
yeah,
you know, ever since
it's not like
here,
you even had the possibility to jam weekly, even if you wanted to. Is what I'm trying to get at, right? It's like, okay, fly in the day of the show, and we'll figure this shit out. Yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't care. Like any band I've been in, I didn't practice or anything for whatever. I just showed up and did it, and that was it. But as an example of something to do is just like a whatever, like fuck you kind of thing. Like we were on tour with Bury Your Dead, Walls of Jericho, and Full Blown Chaos, and I think we were in San Diego playing the Pound. No, San Francisco playing the Pound. And there was like a tour meeting that morning because, well, Bury Your Dead was playing their set, and they were direct support to Walls. Lots of folks were leaving after Bury Your Dead because, you know, Bury Your Dead at the time was killing it. And Mike from Walls of Jericho was like, you know, bands are going over their time slot. You got to make sure you're staying in your, you know, 30 minutes, 45 minutes time or whatever. And Mike Hasty from Walls of Jericho, the guitarist, he's like looking at Mike from Premonitions Gaten, and he's like, he's kind of mostly looking at him, and he's like, what? And he's known Mike for a long time because they played with like a, you know, Earth Mover back in the day. They played Walls of Jericho back in the day, other bands. And he was like, I don't know why you're looking at me. Like our set's like 15 minutes long. We're on stage and off, and like, you know, he's like, no, I'm just saying, like, you know, just keep your time short. We can take
20 minutes to change over if we want. Yeah.
So, and at this time, Dustin, the old Premonitions drummer, was in Walls of Jericho. So when we get out of the little meeting, Mike looks at me. He's like, we're going to play our set twice tonight and get off in 30 minutes. And I was like, yeah, let's fucking do it. So the fucking, we probably played like 11 songs in a regular set, because I think what we did that night was 22 songs, and we played 22 songs and still had like 3 minutes left to get our shit breakdown and off the stage, and we did it. And the funny thing about the two sets was I made sure to say the exact same fucking mosh calls at the same fucking time in the songs, through the same identical set we played back to back after each other. Like I even did like, thanks a lot, we're Premonitions of War. Boom, what's up, we're Premonitions of War, and started the whole set all over again. And I remember seeing this kid up front. I forget, he was wearing some hardcore band shirt, and he just went, oh, and he just like put his head down like that. And I was the absolute like best fucking affirmation of, yeah, that's exactly what you get. Like, we did that shit, and then Dustin was on the side of the stage. He's like, I can't fucking believe you guys did that shit. Hasey's gonna be so fucking mad. And he's just like, like that's the kind of shit that we did because we didn't care. And it was just like Mike Hasey was just like, you guys are fucking assholes. You know I wasn't talking about you. He's like, hey man, we're just trying to prove a point. It was like, it was hilarious.
You mentioned Full Blown Chaos. You guys did a bunch with them, right? I kept seeing their name all over.
We did that tour. I don't know if we did many of the shows with them. I was always, anytime like Full Blown came around, I was always, at the shows hanging out. I'd do a song with them or something like that. But Ray and the Mike and what's the fucking two brothers? I always forget. I can't remember his name. All good dudes. All that early Full Blown Chaos shit is awesome. Fucking just heavy fucking hardcore. Like loved it.
I don't think they get enough they don't get enough credit. They were touring non fucking stop with the most random fucking lineups. When deathcore became a thing, fuck it, we're touring with all the deathcore bands. And they were like in it always,
Ray's vocals were like on that borderline of that same like New York shit at the time. That was like kind of almost like death metal influence because he had a really low guttural sound. Around the time they had like the first EP out, Prophet of Hostility, and maybe the first album that came out at the time, I can't remember, but they played upstairs at Metal Fest. And I remember I was like, oh, I'm gonna go fucking watch Full Blown. This is like one of the first times I was able to see him, maybe the second time. But I remember like they were about to go on and they were so hyped at the time. Like the upstairs at Metal Fest, the Palladium, it's probably like a 500 cap room on the ground and maybe a little bit of the balcony, but the balcony usually had merchant set up. I remember like the stairway leading up to the fucking doors before Full Blown was going on. There was just like a line of people like crammed in to get in and they couldn't fucking get in. And I was like, God damn, like that's crazy. And then people getting pushed out as like the mosh ensued. Like that's what I fucking love. Like
the crowd expanded the crowd into outside of the room.
The first time I saw Full Blown, I think, was that a New Jersey Metal Fest maybe? There's like a New Jersey Metal and Hardcore Fest, probably like 2003 or something like that. And they were one of the first like hardcore bands when it was like kind of beatdowny, where it was like they played a fucking breakdown, but then they somehow slowed it down to a point where it got even like ignorantly heavier. And I was just like, what the fuck like is this? And then they were all the dudes in the band were like pushing, easily 200 plus pounds. They all just looked like fucking beefy monsters. So it just made it that much heavier, It was like, it was fucking awesome.
That's what meshed with the deathcore kids is exactly what you're talking about with the breakdowns there. Like deathcore kids, we loved a breakdown repeated but slower.
But it was like just enough. Yeah, it was just enough of like a rhythmic change up or something, like where they went like halftime or something, or like something where they just changed it where it was just like, oh shit, that hits way different now, even though it's even slower than it was already slow. It was like, fuck, that's awesome. It Dies Today did that shit, I think.
Okay.
One of the first bands that did that shit in like a really like irresponsibly ignorant way on their first EP. Like when they played shows around Mass, like fights would always break out, and it got to a point where they stopped the show one time, like, we're gonna stop fucking coming here if you guys can't fucking stop fighting. And it's like, well, stop slowing the breakdowns down today. You know what I mean? Just chill out with those fucking heavy parts, man. If you don't want the, but it was always ignorant. Like when It Dies Today played, and it was like fucking bananas, and it was fun. It was just hilariously heavy. Yeah.
It's funny because that's another thing I feel like in 2026, like no one would dare call a band like Every Time I Die like a heavy band, We've gone so much further in terms of down-tuned guitars and slowed down and the types of vocals and the extremes of everything, right? And obviously that's not what heavy really comes down to ultimately, right? But it's refreshing to hear someone say that specifically about like a band like Every Time I Die, which most people would probably like laugh it off. Oh yeah, Every Time I Die, a heavy band, ha ha ha, you know. But like, nah, dude, like you know, it
Then
hits
they would
different. It's
die.
a different kind of heavy, you know.
What was that song, Floater? That's the
Mm.
one that's like dun, dun, wah, dun, wah, dun, wah, na, na, na. Was that it, right? Every Time I Die, that fucking the one song they had on Hot Damn that was just like a breakdown was half the song. They just kept getting slower and slower. Yeah, bananas. Yeah.
And they're a fun band too, right? Because you've been talking a lot about like the sarcastic side and you know the I don't want to say the low effort, but just kind of what just going with the flow type of thing. I feel like Every Time I Die were very much that kind of band too. They were just trying to have fun.
Yeah, it's mixing like botch riffs with rock riffs, and then just yeah, fuck yeah, let's party attitude kind of thing. Yeah, they definitely had a lot of those chaotic riffs mixed with like cool fucking. You know, at the time, when a lot of bands were trying to do the southern rock shit, like you know, a band like Every Time I Die was doing it, but also doing it where it made sense, but also mixing with shit like botch or like some of those old bands, like they were like that at the time.
Well, I like the dissonance too, and the
Yep.
chaotic stuff that we keep referencing. Like they had that too. This it wasn't just like we did get a whole wave of like, especially here at the
Norma Jean.
in Canada, dude. Holy fuck, we had a million of these fucking southern rock bands with breakdowns like that. Those
Perfect
whole
Murder?
wave. Sure.
Yeah.
But here we had like you know everything that was like Dead and Divine, Holly Springs Disaster, like that whole kind of wave. That's what everyone was trying to do here for a minute. But Every Time I Die to me was always the best example of what you could do with like truly. Because here's what I'll say. I guess most of the rest of those bands that tried doing the southern thing, it just sounded like a southern thing, but like that's it. It was kind of a generic thing. Or like at best, it's like, ooh, we're a party band, like southern,
Yeah, I'm not
southern licks, like that's it, but there's no substance to it past that, you know.
Yeah, I wasn't into like bands like, oh, we're a fucking party band, like shit like that. It's like goofy to me. Can't do it. I can't really do gimmicky shit like that. But bringing up like a band like A Perfect Murder, I would say they were more like crowbar riffage with hardcore instead of like southern rock kind of thing. It was more like, yeah, more of a crowbar, like that different end of the South, not like the who boy South shit. Like,
yeah, it was the twang is in both, you know. It's that same kind of thing. Okay, here let's kind of wrap this part here with we'll end on like a little social thing to cap it off, but we could dive into Burnt by the Sun, because this was kind of like similar era ish, right? This is like around 05 also, right?
Yeah, it had been around there somewhere. Yeah,
like
because it was shortly after
you took a
Premonitions
break.
wasn't doing a lot.
Yeah, like you ultimately ended up not making music for a year or two, right?
No, see, here's the thing. I was always doing bands with people, always fucking around with my friends. And I think that's kind of where like we did the Buck Hunter thing.
Sure.
I was in the network because the network we were doing, let's see. So if I joined through the guys that did in 2007, I was in the network for like 2 years. So that was around 2005. Yeah. So I went from like Premonitions of War to playing in the network.
Okay.
In terms of like the band that I was mostly playing shows with and shit.
Sure. Okay, well, I mean, let's talk about that. Like, you the hard switch to fucking bass.
Well,
what's going on here?
Because I'd seen the network a few times, and they were fucking awesome. Chaotic shit like Botch, like Early Every Time I Die, Bloodlit, Turmoil, Coalesce, all that shit that was that I was into. Dead Guy. I can't even forget to mention fucking Dead Guy. Bands like that. Those are bands that I really liked musically. I couldn't play bass at the time, really. I had like a bass I fucked around on. And I ran into their singer somewhere at a show. what the fuck was it? I think it was Sounds of the Underground.
Hmm.
Yes, it was, because it was actually it was also the same night I told the singer. He was like, "Oh yeah," because I saw him. He was wearing the singer Scott would always wear this like white T-shirt where he wrote the network on it, and he'd wear it to shows. And he would always just get drunk and show up like, "Hey, you need to check out my the network." And I'm like, "I know your fucking band, like the network." And he's like, I fucking love this shit." Um, and so I saw him there, and I was like, "Hey, so what's up with the network? You guys haven't played shows in a while." He's like, "Oh," I was like, "We're looking for a fucking bassist." And I was like, "If you don't fucking find a bassist, I'll fucking play bass for you. I don't fucking care." It's like, you just need a bass to start playing shows again." He's like, "Oh, fucking real serious?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't fucking care. I'll play bass." It's like, I can't fucking really play bass, but I'll do it.
I'll be there. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm gonna
So
play. I'll be
yeah,
there.
yeah, I'll do it. So that's how I got on that. Like, side story about that Sounds of the Underground. I got a call from Mike from Premonitions of War that the day I was there, I was like already half in the bag drinking. It was probably like 6 o'clock, and he was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, my Sounds of the Underground. I'm fucking drinking." I don't even know what bands I'd seen. I think Red Court might have played that or something. Lamb of God. I don't even know, but waiting for somebody to play. He's like, "Can you do me a favor and stop drinking?" I was like, "Why? What's up?" And he's like, "I'm out with Hate Eternal, and I think their van broke down. They were in Canada,
Hmm.
uh, just over the border." This is I was Sounds like I was in Massachusetts, and he's like, "Do you have a hitch on your truck?" And I was like, "No, I just got a bumper hitch." He's like, "We got a trailer." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "What if I get you a trailer hitch? Can you come to Canada? We'll put the hitch on your truck in this AutoZone parking lot or whatever. We got a show to play in New York, I think, the next day." It was like Hate Eternal, All Shall Perish, and who else were they touring with? Some other Jungle Rot. It's fucking I think it was Jungle Rot. Anyhow.
Hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, yeah, sure." It was like a 5 or 6 hour drive. So I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come. I'll come fucking get you." So I like stopped drinking, left the show, just went up, got them out of fucking Canada. They put the hitch in my truck, hooked the fucking trailer up. I drove to New York, and just that was that. And I think the next day, the dudes in the network hit me up with like, "Hey, play bass for us, please." And I was like, "Okay, cool, sure, yeah. I'm in New York, but we can talk when I get back." Like,
I mean, what'd you do? Did you just go to New York and come back? Like, how'd you
yeah.
get back? If so, like, what was the, what the
I
fuck happens then? I get it. You can move the vehicle there, but then what?
they had something lined up. I think they were either somebody was staying behind with the van to get it fixed, and they were going to drive down and meet him or something. They had it
Hmm.
worked out, but I drove my truck um, to New York. I got really drunk because Eric Rutan, Hate Eternal, was like, "Dude, you're the fucking man. Like, you can have whatever drinks you want out of our fucking rider." And I was like, "That's a bad idea." And I proceeded to get really drunk. And I woke up in the bed of my truck between a fucking sandwich between two futons, using like one as a blanket, just in the middle of somewhere right off Times Square. I think, we were playing BB King's fucking venue there, whatever it was called.
Okay.
They were playing it, whatever. I woke up and I was just like, "Oh my God, what the hell happened?" Like, and somebody ended up driving my truck somewhere else. I think I woke up and I think Eric Rutan's mom lived in New York elsewhere. And I woke up again in the bedroom of his mom's house somewhere. And I was like, "How the fuck did I get here?" Like, I was just some straight up time traveling all night. Yeah, I was a nightmare.
I'm in. You wake up in Eric Rutan's mom's house in a
Yeah,
room, and you don't know how you got there. Is a
yeah,
crazy story.
yeah. He's like, "Oh yeah, we're at Eric's house," and Eric was like, "Hey man, thanks a lot for what you did last night." And I was like, "Yeah, sorry for getting drunk, man." Like, he's like, "No, it was cool, man. But, we would have been here without you. And it was a big show." And I was like, "Oh,
Did you like playing bass?
yeah, I loved it. I got better as I
You
went
said
on.
earlier that's like the most fun you've had
Yeah, well, it's
playing
mostly
live.
because the music. Yeah, the music was it was just so. All those dudes in that band were like 110% all the time. Like, Tim was one of the hardest hitting fucking drummers, chaotic drummer. Everybody in that band did vocals at some point in the band, like singing wise. Everybody had mics and shit. Where Tim would just scream out loud. It was just all chaos all the fucking time, and it was it was just fun. Like, that's all I can say. And me just playing bass, it was just fun to have like a weapon. I don't know, like I hurt more people than I probably should have with the bass than I made music with it. Um, or just other shit. I would just throw mic stands into the crowd of people, and I I think the last show I played with him, or the second last show I played with him, I broke my bass 3 songs in, just smashing it on the floor. It was our CD release show. And then like I was also so drunk at the show. I was trying to play the broken bass with like the strings hanging off of it. And I was just like, and somebody was like, dude, it's not gonna work. It's fucking broken. And I was like, oh yeah. And I just sat out the rest of the show and like drunkenly moshed like a fucking asshole. It was like the show was it was our CD release show. I think Trap Them played, Red Chord played, Architect played. It was just fucking nonsense. Another band, another a revered hardcore band, In Remembrance played. They were a cool band back in the day. I think that's what they played. Yeah. Maybe it was 42nd Love Story. I forget. One of these other bands from that area. Cool show. Just bananas all around. Yeah. But I like playing bass. Yeah. But it was mostly the guys in the band that made it so fun because the personalities of all these dudes that have been friends forever, that were they were not dudes that were in the scene, so to say, but they had been around and gone to shows forever, and been into that music for a long time. Yeah. And like we played shows like in their neck of the woods in New Hampshire. And one of the shows, it was like at like this annual party that some friends of theirs did, where it was just like a dirt track in the backyard where dudes just riding dirt bikes. They had somebody came out in the driveway, did a burnout with a fucking limousine in the middle of the road. Like it was one of those like backwoods parties where cops came and shut the road down so all these dudes could do burnouts and shit in it. Yeah, it was like shit like that. And like we played, and then Kanai played. If you've ever heard Kanai, old metallic hardcore band from early 2000s, late 90s or 2000s.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's so then yeah. So what about Burnt by the Sun? How does that come to be?
That was we toured with the Premonitions of War, with BT Band. Did like a 2.5 week run with them. Just drinking, hanging out with those dudes, like just having a good time. And Premonitions had already done a tour with them before, so they already kind of knew him. I was like the new guy on the scene when it came to like hanging out with them. But I was always kicking it with like Teddy, Witty, the drummer, just drinking beers and making them like suffer, like try to keep up with like we drank. It was I think somebody from Relapse hit up Mike one night when we were on tour, was like, you gotta take it easy on those dudes. Like they're trying to keep up or something. They can't like keep up with you drinking wise, with like just us in general, because we were like a monster, like just idiots in terms of like drinking and being idiots, like getting drunk and just trashing whatever the fuck we were doing. I don't even know. Like there was a show on that tour with BT Bam and Burnt by the Sun. It was in Lawrence, Kansas, and there was a 100 beer tab for the band, just PBRs. BTBM guys didn't drink at all. Dudes in Burnt by the Sun weren't drinking PBR. Maybe Teddy had a couple. It took 3 hours for us to roll through that 100 beers, like 3 or 4 hours to roll through that 100 beers. Like the show wasn't over. BT Band wasn't done, and they told us we had run out of beer on our like rider tour, whatever they gave us. And we're like, I thought it was like 100 beers. Like, yeah, you guys drank all those beers. We're like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So that's like the level of shit we were at the time. But like, so
no problems like performing. I mean, you did mention like being flat on your face on some shows and stuff, but vocal wise, like,
no, it made me better. Like that, my warming up was getting drunk. Like, that's how I did it. Like, a couple beers in, drink while I was on stage if I could and it was allowed, and then afterwards, whatever. It's like I just did it. Like, yeah, there was no technique. I was just doing it, and over the time of just doing it, I was just getting better at doing it without having to try hard. I don't even know. It's like whatever. I obviously have like a technique I use, but I never set out to be like, oh, I need to start doing my diaphragm like this or any of that. I never had YouTube videos to show me how to do it. I just fucking did it, you know, like anybody that came before YouTube at the time. Like, this guy sounds like this. I want to try this. So I did that. And really, it just came the way I got my voice the way it is I was like puking one night, like just thrown up from volume, just having too much in me. And I was like, made this noise at my buddy's house. And it sounded awesome when it came out. And I was like, I have to recreate the muscles that made that happen. So I just started using my diaphragm muscles like that would force a puke out to make that noise. And so that's kind of where I got it from, I guess. I don't know. Like,
Hey, that's your 15-second
yeah.
vocal tutorial from Nate Johnson.
That's all I can
Yeah.
tell you. Just don't think about it. Just fucking yell. I don't know. Just try to be as loud as possible. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mostly asked just because I mean, having that attitude sober, but then you could have all the intentions in the world of just doing the thing, but being too drunk for some people would, I don't know, for whatever reason, make it not work. You know.
Yeah. Maybe I just
Doesn't
thought it was
seem to
better
be
when
the
I was
case.
drunk. Yeah.
Maybe it's the drunk
Yeah.
talking. Yeah.
Like I never would have like vocals in my monitor because I hated hearing my voice. I would just have to like hear it or like feel it coming out of my face almost in
Yeah.
a way, and I would know
Mhm.
it would sound good. The monitors would always be too fucking loud or something, and it was just everybody else in the band would be like, turn that shit off. I'm like, I fine, turn it off. I'm good. Like I'll be fine.
Yeah, I feel the same way with vocals, and I way rather not hear myself in the monitors whatsoever than having them at all be too loud in the monitors. And it doesn't take much. I don't know. And from what you were saying, I feel like it's the same situation with in the studio, right? It's the same.
Yep.
Okay,
So Burn by the Sun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a phone call. Like Teddy called me up. Was like, "Hey man, I know Premonitions of War isn't doing too much." Like I think he said he like talked to Mike, and because Premonitions wasn't doing shit, we weren't really trying to do anything. It was just whatever. And both bands weren't really super active to begin with. They're trying to tour a whole bunch. The Burnt by the Sun guys were all kind of older dudes too. But he's like, yeah, Mike left the band, Woody left the band, and they had this dude from Ripping Corpse playing drums. He'd also played in Cro-Mags at one point too. His name Justin. He's been in a lot of bands. He's a great fucking drummer. But he had taken over. And then Nick from Premonitions of War was the bassist guitarist. He was also playing guitar and Burnt by the Sun at the time too.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was probably also like a little pipeline of asking me to do it. And he just called me and asked me if I want to do it. I was like, fuck yeah. Like Burnt by the Sun's been one of my favorite bands for a long time. So we had started like rehearsing the older shit, had started writing some of the shit that ended up going on that last full length they made, but never recorded anything. And we were going to play a show, like the first show that we'd been like kind of practicing for, and then like bailed on it. And Teddy called me and just was like, "Hey, we talked to Whitty and Mike, and we just kind of decided that I think we're just gonna do like a final album with the original guys." And I was like, "By all means, like you're not offending me. Like that's fucking awesome." It was just, it wasn't, I was like, whatever, man. Like, cool. That's the version of the band that I fucking love. And
yeah.
Mike's big shoes to fill, like vocally, lyrically, like it's always intimidating. It was the similar story when I tried out and got into Turmoil. It was like very intimidating to be in that band because it's a band that I fucking loved since I heard him like late 90s, day one. Like, just crazy.
I mean, legendary band also, right? There's a band with the status, and you're like, okay.
Yep.
If you love the band, it comes with pressure for sure. Like you're replacing like you love
you're
the
replacing
band,
something
so...
you love. Yeah. It's like a weird.
It's like, yes, I love the band. Yes, I can do it, but can I really fucking do it? Like, it's like,
Were those some? Because you ended up playing some shows with them with
No.
Burnt by the Sun. Oh, not at all.
We had one booked in Jersey as like a tryout, like a small thing, almost like under the radar kind of whatever. And it was booked, and we had like a whole set worked out. We just never, it just didn't happen. I think because I think they had maybe either Dave Whitty or like Mike had kind of gotten back on the thing. Was like, hey man, let's do something. Or, whatever. However it worked out, it was like just getting the band back together kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hold off on doing this shit. And if we're doing this, and then we'll just stop this. So. But Nick stayed in the band as a second guitarist.
Okay, cool.
It was just as a vocalist, they got OG guy back, Mike. So
yeah.
And it was
I don't
cool.
know why I was under the impression that was just like a somewhat prolonged amount of time that you had done a few shows with them.
It probably went through a summer or something where I was going down to Jersey and shit and hanging out and practicing and stuff. And yeah,
Sure.
no show ever happened. Unfortunately, I would have loved to play a fucking show with that band, just to, the notch on my belt kind of thing. Like,
Yeah. Okay, let's end this part 1 here on just a little social media clip, shall we?
social media clip. Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, we got
I
to
don't
do
know
it.
how that
We
shit
gotta
works.
do
I
it.
haven't been on social media since like 2013, man.
It's just a
So you-
gotcha
so you won't even
moment.
see
So
it. It's even better.
basically, I'm just gonna bait you into saying something terrible, and then we take this.
Oh yeah, we
Can you
just
cut-
take
you
things out of context.
Cut it out of
and-
context, like when I say
Yeah.
like I didn't like
Exactly.
Lorna Shore, like I don't fucking listen to Lorna Shore, fuck that shit.
Exactly.
See
yeah,
that
and
that
then,
right
cut-
that
cut
right
it
there.
there.
See that right there that you could
That's
see
the
that's what I
clip.
gotta do. Yeah.
and then you make all
Yeah,
the
there's a-
headlines.
Yeah.
So old man still's got it. You see, he
Yeah,
still
yeah.
understands.
I mean, believe me, I know how it works. I know it works.
That was the
okay.
whole purpose
I don't-
of it.
I don't fucking care.
We inviting you just so we can,
Yeah.
do something like that. The
Yeah,
whole
so-
point was to like talk and then boom, bait you into some
Just a couple
you-
15-second clips and
Exactly.
job
That's
here's
the
done.
whole-
That's fine. I talked shit about 6 Feet Under, so that was fine. Like,
There we go.
But it's basically gonna be a compilation of all these things all together, and that's it. That's the
And
whole...
I never released the episode.
Exactly.
That's all the people get.
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay.
Actually, I was gonna say about 6 Feet Under too. I think before, like, I've watched a few interviews with Chris Barnes because I want to hate the fucking dude still for how that all this shit went down with that tour. Because there's more to it, but he doesn't seem like that bad of a dude. And the new 6 Feet shit's not that bad, but he is still kind of a dink when it comes to the old Cannibal Corpse shit. It's like whatever, man. Just
I'm assuming you watch Garza's episode he did.
I think that was what I watched because I was like, why is Garza talking to this fucking dude? But I was like, yeah, it's cool. I think that was what I watched. There was something else I watched too.
A lot of people came out of watching that being like, fuck, I really wanted to hate that guy, but god damn it.
Yeah. He's probably chilled out, like-
Yeah, I'm sure. And
I think
obviously
another-
the context of an interview is different than being on
And
tour.
with time too, like that's the other thing. Not to defend everybody on the planet, but like of course when you look back after a while, like you change over time. You have a different perspective. Life happens.
Some-
So like
Some people, not all.
yeah, no, not everybody. But I'm just saying, in a lot of like you would hope that I hope for me that I'm not this when I'm like, in 30, 40 years. Like I
Yeah.
hope to God. Like I'm not that I hate myself, but please, I hope I'm gonna evolve into something. But I'm just saying, like, as me, who honestly didn't even know he was kind of. I know it's like ignorant, but I was, in the deathcore scene. I'm the ignorant person who wasn't that much into the death metal world. Like exactly what all the death metal fans hated. It's me. Like that's what I am. So I didn't know about it. So I just came in the interview, just watching it, and for me it was just like, oh, okay, he's able to reflect and see that I understood between the lines that he probably fucked up on and I was just like, okay, he's someone who, so I can only imagine someone who maybe hated him and wanted to be like, he's gonna be a piece of shit, and they're just like, he's actually and you see Garza, it probably helps too, like if you look up to Garza and Suicide, it's one of those things you're just like, it's fine, like it's okay, like, it's probably what happened for a lot of people. So.
Yeah, Garza is such like a great interviewer when it comes to like this shit too. Like
Really,
he asks
really
just
is.
like great questions, and he's like he's definitely like you guys definitely interested in like the music of it and like the bandness of it and shit like that, and the people he's talking to. Like he's a true lover of it, and like understanding where people like got inspired from and shit like that.
You can, and he's as real as it gets.
Yeah.
I don't like say whatever you want. That's something you just cannot take away from. He's as real. What you see, and we were lucky enough to see the dude in real life as well, and he's just as cool, maybe even possibly cooler and nicer. So but you're right, he's amazing in terms of interviewers and stuff. Like I'm someone who watched tons of interview and Suicide Silence stuff because I make videos on YouTube about, and I made a million video about Suicide Silence, and Chris was really shy back then, like really kept to himself, and you see the interviews and he's just not a word, if you're lucky, a nod, maybe
Hey,
just
dude had a major stutter his entire life.
There's that too, which is not easy to overcome. It's super intimidating and stuff. You're in a band and stuff, which I get. But to see him now, where he is, absolutely crushing it on top of that. I don't mean that in a patronizing way. I look up to him a lot, but I just mean like to. It's so wholesome to see where he is right now. It's crazy. We made the right person famous type thing. Like boom, like the embodiment of that.
This is a complete sidebar. Did any of
No.
y'all see the footage of them at Hellfest this past weekend?
I just saw a little clip of it today. I think
maybe a story. I'm not sure.
Unanswered.
Was that crazy? It was cool.
Looked wild. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't see a single thing that wasn't sick from Hellfest this past weekend. But the Suicide Silence set looked fucking insane.
I love hearing that.
It's just so cool to see like a band like them have the hardcore crowd, like the fucking the everyone on stage fucking screaming the words and shit, like more than any of the fucking deathcore shows they've probably ever played in their entire life, you know?
Yeah.
And to see that in like 2026 is such a cool thing to see.
Awesome. So cool, man.
Okay, so let's cap it off with this.
The gotcha.
It's the gotcha one. No. But it's just, you know, it's an opinion thing. So people are gonna complain in the comments. It is what it is. You're doomed, regardless of your answer. But I am genuinely curious. Like, if you were to give me your top 5 metal vocalists, who would they be? Any and all eras.
Oh man. Metal, so like metalcore, death metal, hardcore, any of that shit.
Yeah, no, we are not the snobs that'll be telling you that something is or isn't metal.
It's not metal enough.
Yeah.
Shit. Let's see.
I say metal, but I guess it could. Let me. Well, because I'd be remiss to not include hardcore in the conversation, right? So I'm assuming there'd be some picks in there. Just your top 5 vocalists.
In that sort of heavier
genre.
Heavy genre. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna miss a motherfucker too in a bit. Oh shit. So heavy. As far as like, say Frank from Suffo. And also his Long Island accent goes right there with it too. John from Turmoil. This is on the spot shit. It's gonna fucking kill me.
That's the whole point, man.
Yeah, to your defense, it's difficult on the spot.
Dead air here. Let's see here. That's what I hate, because I'll be like, I'll go back and listen to some music tomorrow. I'll be like, oh, I should have said this fucking guy.
In 5 minutes,
Guaranteed.
you're gonna.
Trying to think of just like absolute beasts. Here's a weird one, and it kind of goes. Pete from 100 Demons. He's just a monster. Okay, here's another one. I'm gonna give some to a new band, but what's the kid's fucking name? The band Left Behind from West Virginia.
Okay.
You ever hear him? Like, that kid's voice is it's out of fucking control. Like, that's the first dude I heard a long time where I was like, holy shit, that's some beef. So I gotta get one more here. Let's see, what's another good like death metal vocalist? It's weird, like in my head, I'm like picturing people, but I can't. I'm trying to hear noises too at the same time. It ain't working. Oh, actually, you know what? I'll say fucking Max from Sepultura.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Just because of like the early Sepultura shit. I'm gonna be an asshole. I'm gonna add a 6. Can I say Burton from Fear Factory?
Sure.
I'm just like dudes with big fucking voices, and Burton's voice is always huge. But the Max's vocals, especially on KSCD and lyrically, I think were very different from their earlier shit. Like Chaos City, I think was very political, more so political, probably some of their earlier shit. That was kind of more death metal in a way. And just the songs are nasty, and just the lyrics and the way he sounds really fucking angry about the shit on that album at the time, you know. And I think he himself, I believe, is a person who likes metal, death metal, hardcore, punk. You know, he's one of those fucking dudes that just absorbs it all still to this day, I feel like.
Hell yeah.
Like he gives
that's
young
dope.
bands, yeah, he gives young bands the fucking love just the same as any of the old bands. He's still playing with shit like that. So
Yeah, I've always had so much respect for. There's not there's like less bands like that than you'd think, but
Mhm.
like Suffo is a great example of that, of a band that's continually just, dude. They toured with a shit ton of deathcore bands when it was uncool to tour
Yeah.
with deathcore
Yeah.
bands. They didn't give a fuck about it. They were always cool about it. Dying Fetus is another one of those bands too.
Oh man, I always
there's a-
forget, like Fetus was a huge inspiration for Deadwater for sure. Yeah, like the first two albums, Killing on Adrenaline and it was Grotesque Impalement.
yeah.
Those two definitely, yeah.
Very often, like the big influences, it's like Black Dahlia and them. Like it's usually it's for the I'm speaking for deathcore in general. It's like the Dying Fetus is always up there. Suffocation. I hear a lot of Devirement also, which is cool.
Mhm.
Like I
Yep.
love that freaking band.
Well, I mean, two. Speaking of two bands that just put out releases, like Devourment's new, the 3-song thing they just put out is fucking so sick, dude.
Yeah.
Like I
I
wasn't
need to sit
expecting it to be
down.
bad for whatever reason, but dude, it is fucking awesome, dude. Just surprise dropped it. Here's 3 songs. They fucking
Yeah.
rule. I'm like, hell
That's
yeah.
the way. That's the way.
It is the
to do
way
it.
by far. I wish more bands did that shit.
Mhm.
And did you check out the new 100 Demons?
Yeah, I've been checking
didn't.
this. Yeah.
It's fucking dope too, in my
It's
opinion.
awesome.
Dude, for
Yeah.
a band that's been out of it for so long, like what a return! Like
I don't.
they could have
know-
been they could have been ass coming back for whatever reason, you know. But they still got it, man. It's so cool.
I don't
Yeah.
know them much. Can you tell me just real quick before we like what kind of like that?
You would love it, dude, because it's like
would?
a heavy hardcore band. You
Yeah, and-
okay.
you'd be into it.
Yeah. Their first album, In the Eyes of the Lord.
That's what I should
different
start with?
vocalists. No, that's just their first album. Different singer, Bruce. Also awesome voice, awesome vocalist. Pete's on the second one, which I think is just a self-titled album. And that came out in like fucking 2001 or 2. It came out a long time ago. That's the last time they had a record out. They've played shows here and there off and on since then. But Pete as a vocalist is just a monster. Like he just sounds like an inhuman person. And he's actually also like a very good singer too. I think somebody told me once upon a time that he's like actually a classically trained like vocalist and can actually like sing and play instruments and shit like that too. Like he's just one of those dudes that can do a lot of shit.
Everything basically.
He just did an interview with Hardlore. I don't know if you follow
I've watched a few here and there. Yeah.
The one they just did with Pete. Incredible, and he goes into that part of the classical and the opera singing and learning how to sing and all that stuff. Really fucking interesting story. But yeah, man.
Yeah, he's got some side project called, I think it's called Murmur. Is that what it is? He did with somebody a few years back, and it's very like folksy acoustic. It's really good. It's like if you've heard 100 Demons and you heard him, and you know you've seen 100 Demons shows, or you know at least heard him one way or another, and then you hear that, you're like, oh wow, that's crazy. He can do this shit. But he also sings on the Demons album that he's on, the first one too. Like he has a couple songs that have like melodic parts that are like, okay, dude can sing. Yeah.
I have a big question before we move on. If you can tell me, like, because I don't know I heard the name, but that's it. What song should I start with? Like I'm starting from zero. Like, boom, that's the song I would start with. Is there
with
one?
100 Demons?
Yeah.
With Pete, I mean, the first track off that self-titled album is awesome. But then the one that got big on off that album is called Repeat Process, and is one that has like a chorus on it.
Okay.
Like he actually like sings in and shit. But the song that's also a great song too. Like, but the
Okay.
whole album itself, like front to back, goes by quick and it's
That
nasty all the way
album
through. Yeah, it's a
would
Zeus recorded, I'm pretty sure, and it just sounds it snaps. It's like hits hard. Like
because I'm
the
still
first
kind of
first track hits, and I want to like front flip into people when I hear like when it first kicks in and his voice comes in. It's so fucking nasty to this day.
2004 Zeus with Alan mastering too. Like that was the elite combo. You know,
Yeah.
can't go wrong.
Okay, so now I have something to. I'm still an album person. I'm the type of person who's gonna put like the full length in the order, just listen to it, and that's the experience of the. I'm still doing that, so I'm just gonna.
You can't go wrong with the first track by all means. Yeah, it's right out the fucking door. It's just like it's a heavy hitter.
Perfect, because I love hardcore and stuff. So I would be surprised if I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean they're legendary. They're one of those bands that, had they kept staying busy, they would still be huge and shit. Like, but I think same thing, similar thing. They had families to kind of did that thing. I would assume like just kind of got busy with real life, and some of them own businesses probably and stuff too. That kind of thing.
All right, dude. So let's do a part 2 because yes, we do have some Through the Eyes of the Dead to get through, some Fit for an Autopsy, of course. I do want to talk more about Turmoil because I think that whole thing is super interesting. And it ties into a whole bunch of what we already talked about here.
Yep.
Some of your time was Since the Flood.
Yep.
You did like 1 million guest spots for iconic, like all the iconic bands back in the day. So we gotta kind of pick those apart because there's some really cool stuff. You came back recently, did a fucking guest spot for Last 10. It was fucking rips too. It was like a pleasant surprise to see you on a track in 2026. And obviously we're gonna have to talk a little bit more about the term that was coined, a band getting Nate Johnsoned. We'll talk about all that in part 2.
Yeah, there's nothing you can say that's gonna fucking bum me out or offend me, man. Like I know the reputation I had, and also that the reputation is bigger than what actually happened. Whatever, I don't care anymore.
Hey, but look,
got no problem talking about
it. Yeah, and I mean, look, for what it's worth, I hope you know by the end of this first conversation we're having now that it's all love, and we're just getting to know the human on the other side of. To your point, these stories that are kind of larger than life, and you know, especially with retrospect, right? Because again, like we're talking about shit from like 20 years ago. I was like, it's okay, it's all right. It's 2026 now. You know, we can talk about these things.
You're with two very relaxed people who has perspective, and there's like never any judgment. I would be like the last to judge anyway. It would be almost funny if I would judge anyone. That's
fun. It's fun to nerd out about this too. It was actually like you guys hit up the wife about getting in touch with me. I was like, yeah, it'd probably be cool to just like think about how this shit started and like, just try to blur it all together again. And like I started thinking about some of the bands. Like, I know I texted me like, I haven't listened to fucking any deathcore anyhow. And I started thinking about it. I was like, no, I actually fucking did. And I actually liked a little bit like the bands and the bands we played with and shit too. Like, you know, being apprehensive about bands, but after playing with bands, liking them a lot more and shit too. And like that's kind of how I am. I'm just like, and then I meet them and like, okay, they're awesome. I like the band now.
yeah.
And I'll speak for myself also. I absolutely love that the realness behind, you know, you're talking about like tours or whatever, and you're like, those guys were pricks. Like I know it sounds stupid, but it's so real, and it's just, it is what it is. That's how you felt. That's how you felt.
Yeah.
We love that.
Yeah. And maybe we can get into that more on the next one, but I've never cared. Like, here's the problem with me leaving bands and shit. I don't fucking care about being in a big band. I never cared about being in a big band. And I never cared about industry bullshit and any of like that pleasing people or being like, put your fucking horns up and all that shit. And it's fucking clowny to me. And it's silly when I see it.
No gimmicks, basically.
But it works. But it also, it's like, if that's your thing and it's making a crowd of people happy too, by all fucking means, man, like make people happy and let them do whatever the fuck they're doing. Like it ain't me. It's just like for me, like mentally and how I love music and creative music is wanted to do music. I didn't do it because I wanted to be on the biggest stage possible. It's like it's kind of just about hanging out with like-minded people making cool fucking riffs and music and shit, and then at some point the industry creeps in and people get different ideas, and it's got to be a bigger thing and whatever.
Corporate and what happens.
Yeah.
Depending on what happens with the band.
Yep.
And I gotta say, guys, though, we do deserve. You said you're a gamer. You remember how achievement would work with like Xbox 360, and you would get the ting, like I know it's still
does
there.
it. Yeah.
It still does it. Okay. One of my favorite things. We deserve one for making a 3.5 hours. We didn't even think we didn't talk about.
Jesus.
We deserve an achievement for that. I'm sorry. That's
Yeah, I
that's
could be like,
crazy.
fuck Pat, fuck Will, fuck all those dudes. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, that. Okay.
Yeah, see, there's
Tommy,
another
you've got the
fucking clip
clip.
for it. Yeah,
You got the clip.
I got the clip.
Perfect.
yeah.
So many clips. It's crazy.